Listen to me carefully, for what I am about to say may shatter the very foundation upon which you have built your spiritual life. You have come here looking for answers, looking for a way, looking for God. But I say to you, everyone is looking for God, yet no one has found Him. Why? Have you ever asked yourself this simple, piercing question? Why, after thousands of years of prayers, temples, and scriptures, is humanity still empty-handed? The answer is simple, but it is hard for the ego to swallow. You have not found Him, because the one who looks is the one who hides Him. The very idea of searching assumes that He is lost, but God is not lost. You are. You are the one who has wandered away into the labyrinth of your own mind. In this communion we are about to share, I will reveal to you how the act of seeking separates you from truth, and how by simply stopping you dissolve that distance. You have been told to strive, to struggle, to climb mountains, but I tell you, you will learn how surrender brings you closer than any effort ever could. Humanity has been chasing the divine like a mirage in the desert. You are thirsty, desperate, deceived. You run towards the shimmering water on the horizon, but the faster you run, the further it recedes. You have prayed, you have meditated, you have read scriptures until your eyes are tired, and still you are searching. You are essentially a beggar with a golden bowl begging for pennies, unaware of the treasure you hold in your hands. We will look into the great illusion of seeking, the failure of organized religion, and the utter simplicity of truth. I will guide you beyond the seeker's trap into that space where nothing is missing because everything has always been here. Consider your own life. You have been searching for God your entire life, in scriptures, in temples, in meditation halls. You have looked into the eyes of saints and hidden in the shadows of mountains, and yet He seems to remain just beyond reach. Every time you think you are close, something slips away, doesn't it? It feels like chasing the horizon. No matter how far you walk, the horizon keeps moving. But here is something most seekers completely miss. Something that could liberate you in a single instant. The horizon was never moving, you were. The more you search, the further you go, and the tragedy is that the seeker never realizes that his very effort to find God is what keeps God hidden. The search becomes the smoke that clouds the vision. The seeker becomes the distance. It is almost absurd. It is like a man standing in the middle of the ocean, crying out for water. He cups his hands, he dives deeper, he tastes salt and thinks the fresh water must be somewhere else. Poor man, he is drowning in what he is seeking. This is your situation. You are drowning in God, yet you are crying out, where is He? If this strikes a chord in your heart, if you feel the absurdity of your own search, press the like button right now. Let this be a signal to the universe that you are ready to stop running and start seeing. And if you have not yet joined our caravan of truth, subscribe to the channel. Do not be a mere spectator. Be a part of this awakening. You see, the mind survives only through motion. It must be doing something, reaching, running, becoming. It cannot just be. The mind is like a wheel that fears stillness because stillness is death to the mind. If the wheel stops turning, the mind ceases to exist. And so to keep itself alive, it turns God into another goal, something to achieve, something to conquer. It builds ladders of virtue, of prayer, of discipline. It climbs higher and higher, believing heaven is at the top. But I tell you, the ladder is standing on air. There is nowhere to go. I have watched people pray for 40 years, bowing in the same rhythm every morning. repeating the same dead words. They believe they are moving closer to God, but they are only circling the same illusion. The ego loves the circle. It keeps you busy, but takes you nowhere. And the ego is very clever. It is a master of disguise. It can even disguise its pride as humility. It whispers to you, "Look how devoted I am. Look how deeply I seek." The seeker becomes proud of his seeking. He does not want to find God, he wants to be known as the great seeker. If he finds God, the seeker must disappear. And the ego never wants to die. But what I am about to say will sound strange to your logical mind. The real journey begins only when you stop walking. When the search collapses, when effort falls away, when the mind can no longer move, then and only then something miraculous happens. In that moment of complete stillness, a light appears, not from above, not from outside, but from within. It is like the morning sun rising in your own chest. That light was always there. Your restlessness, your running, simply kept the curtains drawn. Once a disciple came to me and said, "Master, I have been searching for God for 20 years and still I have not found Him." I laughed. I said, "Then stop. He is tired of running away from you." The disciple looked confused. He said, "But if I stop searching, I will never find Him." I told him, "You never will as long as you remain. The seeker must disappear for the sought to appear." That is the disease of seeking. It is not a journey toward the divine, it is a clever escape from it. The seeker cannot meet God because the seeker is the separation. When you stop, when you rest, when you surrender, even the desire to find in that instant, the wall crumbles. You don't find God, you realize you were never apart. If you wish to help us spread this message to those who are still lost in the maze of seeking, consider supporting us through Super Thanks. Your contribution is not just monetary, it is energy put into the service of awakening consciousness. And yet, when I say stop, the mind immediately asks, "Then what am I supposed to do? Just sit like a stone?" That is the mind's addiction to doing. It cannot imagine a life that flows without effort. It cannot conceive of a silence that is alive, a surrender that happens without command. So now let us go deeper, because what comes next will change everything you know about action, effort, and the nature of spiritual work. We will enter the art of non-doing, the beauty of letting go, the dance that happens when the dancer disappears. The mind is a restless thing. It cannot simply exist. It must always be chasing, calculating, achieving, reaching somewhere other than here. That is its nature. Movement is its lifeblood. And yet truth, the divine God, whatever word you choose, is discovered only in stillness. This is the great contradiction. The mind wants to do, but being can only happen when doing ceases. And this is why I say the man of effort will never know God. The very effort itself becomes the wall between you and the infinite. The more you strive, the more you struggle, the more you are entangled in your own doing. It is like trying to calm a lake by stirring it with a stick. Every movement creates new ripples. Only when you stop utterly, totally does the water become still. And in that still water, the sky is reflected perfectly. The seeker, the saint, the sannyasin, they are all trapped in the same misunderstanding. They believe the sacred is an achievement. They believe enlightenment is a destination at the end of some spiritual marathon. But truth is not at the finish line. It is the ground you are standing on. The divine does not come as a reward for your effort. It reveals itself the moment the effort ends. The universe has never been conquered by striving. It has only opened itself in surrender. Do you understand this strange beauty? When you stop trying to swim toward the shore, you suddenly float. The river was carrying you all along. It is only your thrashing that made you tired, made you afraid, made you believe you would drown. Look at existence, the trees, the stars, the rivers. They are not striving, they are simply being. The tree does not meditate, yet it blooms. The bird does not repeat holy words, yet it sings to the morning. The clouds move with no destination, yet they reach everywhere. Only man has forgotten this art of effortless harmony. He has replaced being with becoming. He wants to become holy, enlightened, pure, divine, but he forgets that in this very wanting, he creates the distance. God is not a goal waiting at the end of your discipline. God is the silence that is already breathing through you right now. When you do without doing, when action arises without the I behind it, that is the beginning of true surrender. Surrender is not something you decide. You cannot say, today I will surrender. The very decision means the ego is still the one in charge. Surrender happens when you see the futility of control. It is like holding sand in your fist. The tighter you grip, the more it slips away. When you open your hand, suddenly the sand rests peacefully on your palm. You didn't possess it, but it is yours in a deeper way. Once a man asked me, Master, if I stop doing, won't my life fall apart? And I said, no. For the first time, it will come together. The doer has made a great mess of the world, of his own heart, of his relationships, of his prayers. He has turned life into a struggle. Doing has brought nothing but conflict, and yet he clings to it like a drowning man clings to a stone. Non-doing is not laziness, it is deep understanding. It is realizing that existence is already moving perfectly. You do not need to push the river. The river knows where it is going. In China, there was a wise man named Lao Tzu. He said, doing nothing, everything is done. People laughed. They thought it was foolish, impossible, but only those who have known stillness can understand the secret. The more you act, the less happens. The less you act, the more unfolds. When you disappear as the doer, life begins to move through you, like music through a flute. You are not playing, you are being played. You become the hollow bamboo, and in that hollowness, God breathes His song. When you sit silently doing nothing, something profound begins to change. Slowly the body relaxes, the breath becomes soft, the heart stops racing toward any destination. And in that silence you begin to feel, not think, but feel a deep hum inside, a vibration, as if all of existence is breathing with you. That hum is God. It has always been there. You are just too noisy to hear it. If you are beginning to hear that hum, if you are feeling the truth of non-doing, I invite you to click the join button. Become a member of this community where we do not teach you how to become something, but how to be nothing. And if you wish to dive deeper into these mysteries, check the description for our ebooks. They are not manuals for doing, but reminders for being. But this world does not understand silence, the noise of temples, the shouting of preachers, the chanting of crowds. All of it is the same fear, the same escape. Religion has become another form of doing, another effort to reach the unreachable. The truth cannot be reached because it is what you are. You cannot reach your own being. You can only realize that it has been with you from the beginning. and that realization dawns only in the stillness of non-doing. So learn the art of letting go. Learn to be still without effort. Learn to trust the flow of existence. Stop fighting. Stop swimming. Stop striving. The moment you do, you will discover something so subtle and so vast that your mind will not be able to contain it. The divine will not be found in temples or prayers, but in the pause between breaths, the quiet moment when all effort stops. That pause is the door, and the door has never been closed. Now the question naturally arises, if silence is the key, why has religion filled our lives with so much noise? How did the very path that promised freedom turn into bondage? Let us look deeper into how this sacred silence was drowned in the sounds of words, rituals, and fear. Religion was born out of the longing to touch the divine. But very soon it forgot the fragrance of that longing and began to collect only the ashes of words. In the beginning, there were mystics, wild, free, mad with the presence of truth. They danced under the sky, they sang to the trees, they spoke not from scriptures but from silence. A Buddha sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, a Christ walking by the sea, a Lao Tzu disappearing into the mountains. These were not founders of religion, they were dissolvers of it, but the mind of man, frightened by freedom and addicted to security, turned their songs into systems, their silence into commandments, their living presence into dead theology. The disciple wanted certainty, the crowd wanted control, and the priest saw opportunity, and thus religion became organized. And the moment it became organized, God disappeared. Once there was only the vast open sky of consciousness, then came the temples, the doctrines, the scriptures, the priests. The living tree of truth was cut down, and its wood was carved into idols. The priest stood before the idol and said, "This is God," and the people, blind and hungry for comfort, believed him. They forgot the wind that once moved through the branches. They forgot the fragrance of the blossoms. The statue became their world, and slowly they began to worship their own forgetfulness. The priest became the middleman between man and God, and once there is a middleman, both are lost. The priest said, "You cannot reach the divine without me." He sold the keys to heaven to those who were already standing inside it. The business was profitable not in money alone, but in power. He frightened men with sin and promised salvation at a price. Fear became the foundation of faith, and love, the very heart of the divine, was exiled. When religion begins to control, spirituality dies. When fear enters, love flees, and belief replaced awareness. The priest said, "Don't experience, just believe." He taught men to memorize prayers, to kneel in certain ways, to repeat holy names, all without understanding, all without feeling. How can a man who believes be alive? Belief is a grave. Experience is the living body. When you believe, you close your eyes. When you know, you open them. But belief is comfortable. It spares you the trouble of transformation. It spares you from the terror of seeing the truth for yourself. That is why people cling to religion. Not because it brings God, but because it hides Him safely behind words. When belief took the place of awareness, the temple became a marketplace. Religion began to sell God like a commodity. One prayer for success, another for forgiveness, another for peace. But the peace of the priest is nothing but opium for the soul. It soothes, it dulls, it keeps you asleep. It never awakens, and when you are asleep, you are easy to rule. Every priest and politician knows this. Religion became a politics of the spirit, a system of control. It started to tell you what to eat, what to wear, how to love, how to die. It entered every corner of your being, not to set you free, but to make sure you would never fly again. I have often said that the priest and the politician are two faces of the same coin. One rules the body, the other the soul. The priest says, obey God, but what he means is, obey me. The politician says, serve the people, but what he means is, serve my ambition. And both thrive on your fear. One of death, one of sin. If you remove fear, both disappear. And suddenly the world is full of free men. And in freedom God is born again. This is why you must rebel. Not with violence, but with silence. Not with swords, but with awareness. Before we part in this moment, do not forget to like and share this video. Sharing truth is the highest form of charity. Let us wake up the world together. When religion became organized, it lost its innocence. It lost the direct contact between the human heart and the infinite. Once the mystic was enough. His silence was contagious. It was a fire that jumped from one heart to another without a single word being spoken. But now you have scriptures so heavy they can crush the truth beneath their weight. People carry Bibles, Qurans, Gitas, beautiful books, holy books, but they do not carry love. They do not carry silence. They do not carry awareness. The book is sacred, but the reader remains blind. It is the greatest irony of history. It is as if a man finds a map to a hidden treasure and spends his whole life worshipping the map. He frames it in gold. He bows to it. He lights candles before it. He fights with others who have different maps, but he never takes a single step. He never digs for the treasure itself. He dies with the map pressed to his chest, a beggar who believed he was a king. That is what has happened to humanity. You are worshipping the words of Buddha, of Krishna, of Jesus, but you are never walking the path those words were meant to reveal. They turned the pointing finger into a god, and thus the moon was lost. Do not look at the finger. Look at where it points. The real temple is not made of stone. The real temple is your consciousness. The true priest is your own awareness. And the only scripture worth reading is the silence vibrating within you. The day you understand this, everything changes. Every stone, every leaf, every breath becomes sacred again. You realize that God has never belonged to the churches, the mosques, or the synagogues. They have tried to imprison him, but he is too vast. He belongs to the moment, to this breath, to this heartbeat, to this silence that surrounds you right now. And yet, look at what you have done with prayer. Once belief replaces awareness, prayer becomes repetition. You repeat words that no longer carry meaning, gestures that no longer open doors. Let us look now into this tragedy. What happens when prayer itself turns mechanical? When devotion becomes duty? When love turns into ritual? And the sacred becomes nothing more than sound without soul. Prayer once meant falling in love with existence. It was a whisper from the heart to the vastness. It was a song that rose like fragrance from a flower, spontaneous, unplanned, unforced. In the ancient days, the mystics prayed not because they wanted something, not because they were asking for favors, but because they could no longer contain their gratitude. They had touched something so immense, so beautiful, that words could not hold it. So they danced, They sang, they wept tears of pure joy. Their prayer was not toward God, it was within God. It was an overflowing, not a request. But slowly, as the mind took over, as the priest organized the mystery, that living pulse disappeared. The prayer that once flowered from love turned into a ritual performed out of fear. People no longer sang to celebrate life. They recited formulas to protect themselves from punishment. If I do not pray, God will be angry. If I do not bow, I will go to hell. The heart fell silent and only the lips moved. The priest taught men how to pray as if prayer could be taught, as if you can teach a bird how to sing or a flower how to release its scent. He said, repeat these words, bow at this time, face this direction, and the people obeyed. They thought obedience was devotion. They thought discipline was love. They forgot that love has its own wildness. You cannot train love. A heart that is trained is a heart that is dead. And so the temples filled with words, millions of words rising every day, but the sky remained empty. I tell you, God does not listen to your words, He listens to your silence. But silence cannot be manufactured. It cannot be rehearsed. Silence happens when you are so present, so utterly here, that even the desire to speak dissolves into awe. Real prayer is not saying anything, it is listening. It is listening so deeply that even the distinction between the listener and the listened disappears. When you listen to the wind moving through the trees, do you hear it? Or do you just label it wind? When you hear the waves breaking on the shore or the sound of the rain on the roof, when you feel your own breath moving softly through your body, that is prayer. It is not something you do, it is something that happens when you are utterly open, utterly alive. If this message is resonating with the silence in your heart, if you feel the truth of this non-doing, show your support by clicking the super thanks button. It is a way to help us keep this flame of awareness burning in a world of digital noise. But look at the state of the world now. People go to their holy places repeating the same words that have been repeated for thousands of years. They kneel, they bow, they light candles, but the light in their eyes is gone. They are worshipping shadows, not the living presence. They pray out of habit, not out of love. And habit cannot touch the divine. Habit is mechanical. It belongs to the machine, the robot. A story comes to my mind. There was once a saint, a very disciplined man, who spent his whole life praying in a small temple in the mountains. Every morning and every evening, without fail, he would light a lamp, chant his ancient mantras, and bow before the statue of his god. He was perfect in his ritual. He never missed a syllable. One day while he was praying, a small bird perched on the windowsill and began to sing. It was not a planned song. It was not a trained song. It was just the bird being itself innocent, natural, free. It poured its whole soul into the morning air. The saint stopped his chanting. He looked at the bird, he listened. For the first time in his life, the armor of his discipline cracked. He felt tears rolling down his cheeks. He said, all these years I have been reciting empty words, dead words, and this little bird has shown me what prayer truly is. From that day, he stopped his rituals. He put away the scriptures. He sat in silence and listened to the song of the world. And for the first time, he met God. Do you see? Prayer that arises from fear is a prison. Prayer that arises from love is freedom. When you pray because you are afraid of hell or greedy for heaven, Your prayer is poison. It cannot fly. It crawls on the ground like a frightened animal. But when you pray, because you are overflowing with gratitude, because you are so full of wonder that you cannot remain silent, that prayer becomes wings. On those wings, you soar into the infinite. Religion has turned prayer into a performance. It has made God into an audience. You think He is watching to judge your posture, your pronunciation, your clothes? No, He is only listening for your heart, and the heart speaks a language that has no grammar, no scriptures, no repetition. It speaks in silence, in tears, in laughter, in love. When you bow before a flower, when you touch a tree with reverence, when you hold a child and feel the mystery of new life, that is prayer. Not something to be done, but something to be lived. Let your prayer be like laughter, not like labor. Do not make it a burden. When prayer becomes work, God disappears. When prayer becomes play, God returns. Look at the stars. They are not serious. They twinkle, they dance. Look at the rivers. They sing as they flow toward the ocean. The whole existence is celebrating. It is a festival of lights and sounds. And you are sitting with folded hands, serious faces, reciting someone else's words. You are missing the feast. The divine is not hiding. You are just too busy rehearsing the right lines to notice the music that is already playing. Once prayer dies, God becomes a theory. He becomes a word to be debated, not a presence to be felt. People argue about His name, His form, His existence. Wars are fought over names, while He laughs silently within them, waiting to be remembered. That is all that is ever needed, remembrance, smarana. When you drop the noise of repetition, when you stop performing for heaven, when you become silent and simple like a child, again prayer is reborn. Then even breathing becomes prayer. Even walking is worship. If you wish to deepen this remembrance in your daily life, I invite you to join our inner circle. Become a member of this channel. It is not just a subscription, it is a commitment to your own awakening. And for those who want to read more about the art of listening, check our ebooks in the description. Now, we must go deeper, beyond repetition, beyond belief, beyond the dead words. We must move into the direct experience of the living God that is breathing through you even now. We must rediscover what it means to know the divine, not as an idea, but as the pulse of existence itself. We must go back to the beginning, not the beginning of the world, not the beginning of time. Those are just concepts. I mean the beginning of your own awareness, the point before thought arose, before words divided the world into me and you, before prayer turned into repetition, before belief took the place of experience. Because that beginning is not in the past. It is right here, waiting beneath the layers of your mind. God is not something you can know as an object. This is the fundamental error of all seekers. You treat God as if He were a rock, a tree, a person standing in front of you, but He is not the seen. He is the seer. He is the one who knows. You cannot look at Him because He is the eyes that are seeing. You cannot speak to Him because He is the silence that listens. You cannot find Him because He is the very ground of being from which your search arises. The tragedy of man is that he keeps looking outward for what is already shining within. The mind is a great divider. It cuts reality into pieces, labels them, categorizes them, and then gets lost in its own labels. The mind cannot know God because the moment you name Him, you have lost Him. You can only experience Him, and experience is always now, not tomorrow, not in another life, not after 20 years of meditation, only this moment. The divine is so close that you miss Him by thinking about Him. Thinking is the distance, awareness is the bridge. You ask, then how can I experience God? And I say, you cannot, because you are the experience. It is like asking, how can the ocean find water? The mind cannot understand this. And that is good, because the mind must fail for truth to enter. The mind wants to grasp, to hold, to define. But God is not an object to be held. He is a vastness to be dissolved into. You cannot capture Him like a photograph. You can only disappear into His light. The moment you disappear, He appears. But not as He, not as you, just as silence, as fullness, as isness. This is why meditation is not a method of reaching God. It is the art of dissolving the seeker. Meditation is not doing, it is undoing. It is unlearning everything you have been told about the divine. It is peeling away the layers of conditioning until only the naked truth remains. When you sit in silence, not trying to control your breath, not trying to concentrate, not even trying to meditate, just being, then something opens. You begin to feel a subtle pulse beneath everything. It is there in your breath, in the hum of the refrigerator, in the distant traffic, in the beating of your own heart. That pulse is not yours. It is the pulse of life itself. That is God. Not a person sitting on a throne in the clouds, but the vibration that sustains everything. Imagine a mirror covered with dust. You may look at it and think there is no reflection there. But the reflection is only hidden, not gone. The act of seeking, your running, your praying, your striving is like adding more dust. The more you rub and struggle, the more blurred the reflection becomes. But if you simply let the dust settle, if you sit quietly and allow silence to descend, the mirror begins to shine again effortlessly. That mirror is your awareness. It doesn't need to find the reflection. It only needs to stop moving long enough to see clearly. The image was never lost, only obscured. When you are still, when your mind is no longer running after desires or running away from fears, when you are neither trying to find nor trying to forget, suddenly the whole world becomes luminous. The trees, the stars, the faces of strangers, everything radiates the same light. You see the same life in the beggar and in the king. You see that the sacred and the ordinary are not two. Washing a dish, walking down a street, sitting under a tree, all of it becomes divine. Then you realize that spirituality is not about escaping life. It is about dissolving into it so deeply that no boundary remains between you and existence. I once told a disciple who asked me, "Master, when will I see God?" I said, "When you stop seeing yourself." He asked, "How do I stop seeing myself?" And I said, "By seeing everything else as yourself." That is the essence of awareness. When the boundary between I and the world disappears, when the mirror no longer reflects an image but becomes transparent, then the whole of life looks back at you, and in that gaze you meet the divine. Awareness is the only real prayer. Meditation is the only real temple. Silence is the only scripture worth reading. And love that has no demand, no fear, no object, is the only language that God understands. When you live with awareness, Even the smallest act becomes sacred. Eating, sleeping, breathing, each movement becomes a dance of the divine. You are not doing anything. Existence is doing everything through you. You are just the flute, and the music plays by itself. And once you see even a glimpse of this, just a single moment of pure presence, everything changes. You cannot go back to the old world of seeking and striving, because you now know that you were never separate, you were never lost, you were never in need of salvation. The seeker was the illusion, and the search was the shadow of that illusion. The moment the seeker disappears, only life remains, vibrant, alive, infinite. And yet, though you may awaken for a moment, you will find yourself forgetting again. This is the nature of the mind. You will fall back into the dream of I and mine. You will start thinking, planning, worrying, chasing once more. This is natural. Do not condemn it. The mind is ancient, and its habits are deep rivers carved into your brain. But now that you have seen the truth, each time you forget, the remembrance will return more easily. You will fall asleep again and again, but the awakening will come sooner and sooner. So let us look into this forgetfulness. Why does man, after glimpsing the truth, fall back into illusion again and again? What is this strange pull of the dream, this sleep of consciousness? And how can we live in constant remembrance of the divine without making it a struggle? The greatest mystery of human life is not death. It is not suffering. It is not even the search for God. It is forgetfulness. You touch the truth, you feel its fragrance, you glimpse the vastness of what you are, and then, as if by some strange hypnosis, you fall back into the old darkness. You forget. It is almost unbelievable how easily man forgets the divine. You can have moments where you are full of light, where you feel as if existence itself has entered your body, and within an hour you are back in anger, back in greed, back in anxiety. Why? Because you have lived asleep for so long that sleep has become your comfort. Awakening is too vast, too intense. It burns. The light of awareness is blinding at first. So the mind, cunning, ancient, afraid, pulls you back into the familiar fog. It says, rest. It was only a dream. And again you start to dream the worldly dream. Man keeps forgetting because he keeps clinging to the illusion of the ego. The ego is a shadow. It has no substance of its own. Yet it creates such noise that you begin to mistake it for yourself. You say, I am this body, this name, this story, this reputation. You become attached to your own reflection and forget the one who is seeing. That is the root of all forgetfulness, identification with what you are not. The moment you say I, you have drawn a line between yourself and the whole. That line is the sleep of consciousness, and the ego loves this sleep because in wakefulness it cannot exist. Awareness is poison to the ego. Look closely. Every time you say I, there is a contraction inside. You become small. You become tense. You begin to protect, to possess, to plan. The vast sky of your being shrinks into a tiny cell. That cell is miserable, yes, but it is comfortable because it feels familiar. And the familiar feels safe, but that very safety is death. The ego loves the known. Even if the known is misery, that is why people live in suffering and call it life. Because suffering at least feels like mine. The unknown frightens the ego because in the unknown it cannot exist. God is the great unknown. That is why the ego can speak about God, argue about God, worship God, but it cannot meet him. The meeting is death for the ego. Every time you awaken, even for a moment, the ego trembles. It knows the danger. It will whisper, "Be careful, don't go too far, you'll lose yourself." And yes, you will. But you will only lose the false self. You will lose the chains that bind you. Still, man clings to it, like a child clings to a broken toy. The child weeps when the toy is taken away, not realizing that the sharp edges of the toy were the cause of his bleeding. The ego is that broken toy. You have carried it for lifetimes, and it has given you nothing but pain, yet you keep polishing it, decorating it, calling it my identity. Forgetfulness is not something that happens to you. It is something you choose unconsciously, out of habit. You choose it because awareness feels like fire. It demands that you drop all that you know, all that you are not. Awareness asks you to die each moment and be reborn. And man fears death, not just physical death, but psychological death, the death of the I. So he keeps falling asleep. He prefers the dream, because in the dream he can continue to be the center. In the dream he can be the hero, the victim, the saint, the sinner. In reality there is no center. There is only vastness. But awareness is patient. It waits behind every forgetfulness, like the sun behind the clouds. The clouds can hide it, but they cannot destroy it. So do not condemn yourself for forgetting. That too is a part of the rhythm. Forgetting and remembering are the tides of consciousness. Ebb and flow, night and day, sleep and waking. Each time you remember, you become a little more awake, and each awaking burns away a little more of the darkness. One day you will wake up and never sleep again. Until then, the key is simple. Remember, don't fight the forgetfulness. Just remember. When you forget, remember again. When you fall, stand up again. Don't turn remembrance into effort. Make it play. Let it be gentle. Let it be like breathing, natural, constant, effortless. When you eat, remember. When you walk, remember. When you speak, remember. Not as a practice, but as a fragrance. Awareness is not something you do. It is what you are when you stop doing. There is an old story. In the dark, a man mistakes a rope for a snake. He becomes terrified. He screams, he sweats, he trembles. He runs to fetch a stick to kill the snake. Then someone brings a lamp, and in that single flash of light, the snake disappears. The snake was never there. It was only his mind's creation. The rope had been there all along. This is exactly how forgetfulness works. You create imaginary fears, desires, goals, illusions. You cry and pray and fight, thinking the world is full of snakes. Awareness is the lamp that shows you the rope. Once you see, fear vanishes instantly. You don't have to fight the snake. You just have to see clearly. And this cycle will continue. Seeing, forgetting, remembering again, until remembrance becomes your nature, until awareness becomes as effortless as your heartbeat. Then you live like a flame, bright, unwavering, alive. Life itself becomes meditation. Every sound becomes sacred. Every gesture becomes worship. You no longer pray for God, you live as God. In the next part of this journey, we will explore how to make this remembrance permanent. We will talk about the ultimate state of no mind and how to live in the marketplace without getting lost in its noise. But for now, sit with this. Let the lamp of awareness burn bright. And when that lamp burns bright, you will see that the darkness was never real. you will see that the fear was a ghost and the separation was a lie. When remembering becomes natural, when awareness becomes your center, life turns into prayer. There is no temple, no ritual, no effort, only the quiet music of being. And in that music you are dissolved. The seeker has vanished, and only the song remains. Now the final truth begins to unfold. Not the God you sought, but the silence that has always surrounded you, the presence that was never absent. Let us go now into that silence, into the eternal presence that needs no name and no search, because it has been breathed in through you from the very beginning. When the seeker disappears, only God remains. But listen closely, for I must destroy your old dictionary. When I say God, I do not mean the God of the temples or the scriptures. I do not mean a bearded man in the sky who judges your sins and counts your virtues. That is a childish God, a toy created by man's fear. I speak of the God that is not a person but a quality. Use the word godliness instead. It is better. God is a noun, a dead thing. Godliness is a verb, a living flow. It is the silent, pulsating presence that has always been here, watching through your eyes, breathing through your breath, living through your life. It is the most ordinary and the most sacred thing. And because it is so close, you have never seen it. You were looking far away into the skies, into the future, into dreams of salvation, and the divine was sitting patiently within your own heartbeat. It waited through your searching, through your prayers, through your despair. And now that the seeker is gone, now that you have stopped reaching, now that you are finally still, he is here, not coming toward you, not appearing before you, because he was never absent. It was your movement that created the illusion of his distance. You can feel it when you are silent, when even your thoughts seem to have fallen asleep. There, between two breaths, in that gap where there is no word, no want, no effort, there he is. And in that stillness, you realize something immense and simple. God is not a being. He is being itself. He is not someone to be worshipped. He is the very space in which worship happens. The trees growing, the wind blowing, the child laughing, the stars burning billions of miles away. All of it is his dance, and you are not outside it. You are not a spectator. You are part of the rhythm, part of the song, part of the vast mysterious dance of existence. Life is God, and death is also God. The breath that enters you and the breath that leaves you, both are his. The flower that blooms and the flower that withers, both are his gestures. The waves that rise and the waves that fall, both are his movement. And when you see this, when you live this, all divisions disappear. Then there is no sacred and no profane, no sinner and no saint, no heaven and no hell. There is only life, vast and eternal, changing and yet unchanging, moving and yet still. For so long, you have been told that God is far away, that he is the creator and you are the creature, that he is the master and you are the servant. But this is man's arrogance disguised as humility. You are not separate from the divine. You are a wave in the same ocean. When you dissolve the illusion of separation, you do not find God, you awaken as God. You were never less than divine, only unaware of your divinity. You were the ocean dreaming it was a drop. You were the sky believing it was a cloud. If you are ready to claim this vastness, if you are ready to drop the mask of the small self, hit the like button, let it be an assertion of your own divinity, and share this video with those who are still asleep, dreaming they are small. When I am not, God is, I am not speaking in metaphor. I am speaking of the deepest truth. When the I, the ego, the personality, the story disappears, only presence remains. This presence is not yours, not mine. It belongs to no one. It simply is. And in that isness, all suffering ends, because suffering is born of resistance, of division, of the illusion that something is missing. When you see that everything is already whole, already perfect, already complete, what can you suffer for? Who is left to suffer? There comes a moment when even the word God becomes unnecessary. It dissolves like mist in the morning sun. You don't need the word anymore because you are living the reality. To speak of Him feels like reducing the infinite into sound. It is like describing water to a fish. So you remain silent, and that silence is the highest prayer, the purest communion, the ultimate celebration. You are not praying to God, you are praying as God. Once a disciple asked me, "Master, what happens when a man finds God?" And I told him, the man disappears and only God remains. He said, "Then who lives, who acts, who loves?" I smiled and said, "Love lives, action happens, life flows, but there is no one behind them. The flute remains, but the player is gone. The wind blows through the hollow bamboo, and music creates itself. And in that emptiness, everything becomes luminous. Every leaf glows with awareness. Every sound carries music. Every breath is ecstasy. You realize that existence itself is praying without words, loving without purpose, living without end. The fulfillment of emptiness, that is the final revelation. You are filled only when you are empty. You are complete only when you are nothing, because in nothingness there is no boundary, no wall, no self to keep life out. In emptiness, existence flows through you like light through space. You become transparent, invisible, and in that invisibility you shine. But here the mind will play its last trick. The mind is very cunning. It will listen to this and say, "Okay, I must become empty. I must destroy the ego. I must practice no mind." Do not fall into this trap. The moment you try to be empty, you are full of the effort, full of the idea of emptiness. You cannot force emptiness. You cannot practice no mind. Who will practice? The mind. The mind trying to stop the mind is like a thief trying to catch himself. He will run, he will shout, he will make a lot of noise, but he will never catch the thief because he is the thief. So what is the way? The way is understanding, not effort. Just see the noise of the mind. Just watch it. Don't fight it. Don't say stop. If you say stop, the mind will argue. It will say, why? What about tomorrow? What about money? What about security? And you will be drawn into a dialogue. Do not argue with the mind. Just watch. Be a witness. Like a man sitting on the bank of a river, watching the water flow. Sometimes the water is clean, sometimes it is muddy, sometimes there are dead leaves, sometimes there are flowers. You do not jump into the river to clean it. If you jump in, you will only make it muddier. You sit on the bank, you are indifferent, you are aloof. This aloofness is the key. In the East, we call it sakshin, the witness. When you simply watch the thoughts without judgment, without condemnation, without attachment, a miracle happens. Slowly, because you are not giving them energy, the thoughts begin to slow down. They lose their momentum. The gaps between them become longer. One thought comes, then a silence, then another thought. In that silence, you have your first glimpse of no mind. It is not a state of stupidity. It is a state of pure intelligence. It is not sleep. It is the highest awakening. In that gap, the clouds part and the blue sky of your consciousness is revealed. And as you continue to watch, the gaps become bigger. Minutes, hours, days. A time comes when the mind only speaks when it is needed. It becomes a servant, a beautiful mechanism to be used for communication, for calculation, for living in the world. But it is no longer the master. It no longer runs the show. You are the master, the silent witnessing presence. If you wish to master this art of witnessing, to learn the techniques that can help you sit on the bank of the river, I encourage you to click the join button, support this channel, and gain access to deeper guidances. And for those who are serious about this transformation, our ebooks provide the maps for this inner territory. The link is below. Now I must address a great misunderstanding. Many people think that to live in this state of no mind, to live as God, they must leave the world. They think they must renounce their families, their jobs, their money, and go to the Himalayas. They think spirituality is against life. This has been the oldest disease of religion. Escapism, the monk running away from the woman, the ascetic running away from comfort, the seeker running away from the marketplace. I say to you, do not run. Renunciation is not the way. Transformation is the way. If you run to the mountains, you will take your mind with you. You will sit in a cave, but your mind will be thinking of the city, of the food, of the pleasures you left behind. Physically, you are in the Himalayas, but psychologically, you are in the market. This is hypocrisy. And look at the man in the market. He is physically in the shop counting money, but his mind is thinking of peace, of God, of the mountains. He is also divided. Both are unhappy. I teach you a new man, a whole man, Zorba the Buddha, one whose feet are firmly rooted in the earth, who enjoys the beauty of the world, the food, the love, the music, like Zorba the Greek, and yet one whose head touches the stars, who knows the silence, the depth, the ecstasy, like the Buddha. Why choose? Why be half? Be whole. Live in the marketplace, but do not let the marketplace live in you. Be in the world, but not of it. This is the real challenge. It is easy to be silent in a cave. There is no one to disturb you. But to be silent in the middle of traffic, to be silent when your boss is shouting, to be silent when the market is crashing, that is the test. That is the fire that proves the gold. I want you to be a lotus flower. The lotus grows in the mud. The water surrounds it, but not a single drop of water touches it. It remains untouched, floating above, yet rooted below. Be a lotus. Do not run away from the mud. The mud is needed. It provides the nourishment. Your life, your struggles, your relationships, they are the mud. Use them, grow through them, but remain untouched. This brings us to the very center of non-doing in action. How to act in the world without creating karma, how to work without stress, how to love without attachment. It is by applying the same principle, the witness. When you are working, watch yourself working. When you are walking, watch yourself walking. Remember, I am not the body walking, I am the witness. I am not the mind thinking, I am the witness. Slowly, a distance is created. You are doing everything that needs to be done, perhaps even better than before, because you are calm, focused, not distracted by anxiety, but you are not the doer. Action is happening through you. This is what Krishna taught Arjuna in the Gita, Nishkama Karma, action without desire for the fruit. You act because the situation demands it, not because you are hungry for the result. You dance because the music is playing, not because you want applause. When you live this way, life becomes a play, Leela. You are an actor in a great cosmic drama. You play your role, father, mother, worker, friend, with total intensity, with total heart. But you know deep down that it is a play. When the curtain falls, you will go home. You are not the costume you are wearing. This lightness, this playfulness is the fragrance of true spirituality. The serious man is diseased. The religious man with a long face is not religious. He is simply constipated, spiritually constipated. He cannot laugh. And if you cannot laugh, you cannot know God. Because I tell you, God is the greatest comedian. Look at the world. Look at the platypus. Look at your own life. If you cannot see the humor, you are blind. Laughter is the bridge. Laughter breaks the ego. You cannot laugh and have an ego at the same time. In a moment of deep, belly-shaking laughter, thinking stops. You are pure presence. That is why I tell so many jokes, not to entertain you, but to shock you into silence, to tickle you into awakening. So, let your life be full of laughter. Let your search be full of joy. If you are grim, you are wrong. If you are heavy, you have missed the path. The closer you get to truth, the lighter you become. You become weightless. You can fly. And as you become lighter, you begin to see that time is also an illusion of the mind. The seeker always lives in the future. One day I will find. One day I will be enlightened. This one day is the greatest enemy of the now. God knows no time. Eternity is not a very long time. Eternity is no time. It is just this moment expanding forever. The mind lives in the past memory or the future imagination. It cannot live in the present. The present is too narrow for the mind. There is no space for it to move. But for you, the present is the only reality. Stop postponing. Postponing is a sin. You say, I will meditate when I retire. I will be happy when I get that house. I will love when I find the perfect partner. You are wasting life. Life is slipping through your fingers like water. The only time to be happy is now. The only time to find God is now. If you cannot find Him here in this breath, you will not find Him in 1,000 lifetimes, because here is the only place there is, and now is the only time there is. Wake up to the urgency of the moment. Do not let the mind drug you with promises of tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. When it comes, it is always today. If you are feeling this urgency, if you want to help us wake up as many souls as possible before their time runs out, use the Super Thanks feature. Your support helps us reach the sleepers. And now sit under a tree sometime, metaphorically or literally, not to meditate, not to pray, not to do anything. Just sit. Let the breeze move through you. Let the sunlight touch your face. Feel the heartbeat of the earth beneath you, the vast quiet of the sky above. In that simple presence, without asking, without expecting, without believing, you will know, not through thought, not through effort, but through being, that knowing is not knowledge, it is realization. It cannot be lost because it was never gained. It was always there, only forgotten, only covered by the dust of searching. And now you know the search was never needed. The one who was looking has disappeared. The seeker is gone. the search is gone, and only the divine remains, timeless, wordless, infinite. You have not found God. You have awakened as God. There is no more journey, no more goal, no more tomorrow. Only this breath, this silence, this presence. You have walked through many paths and knocked on many doors, and now, after all the journeys, all the questions, all the longing, you find yourself right back where you began. But this time, everything is different. Before you were restless, now you are still. Before you were searching, now you have stopped. Before you were asking, where is God? And now you simply see. That is the miracle. Not that something new appears, but that the old blindness disappears. God was never lost. You were lost in movement. The miracle is not in finding, it is in stopping. When you stop running, even for a single moment, the whole universe rushes in to meet you. It is as if existence was waiting, holding its breath for you to pause. The stars, the trees, the winds, the waters, they all lean closer. Life embraces you like a long-lost lover. You have been searching through scriptures, climbing mountains, sitting at the feet of teachers, but the divine was hidden in the pauses between your own breaths. You looked everywhere except in the one place you never thought to look, in your own stillness. Stopping does not mean withdrawal. It does not mean renouncing the world or sitting in a cave. It simply means living without the fever of becoming. It means walking but without hurry. It means speaking but from silence. It means loving but without need. It means breathing not to survive but to celebrate. When you stop, you discover that life has never been against you. It was your rushing that made it seem hostile, your striving that made it seem distant. When you are still, life reveals its kindness, its patience, its infinite tenderness. The mind will try to interfere. It will say, if you stop, everything will fall apart. But it is the opposite. For the first time, everything will fall into place. The doer has created chaos. The non-doer discovers order. You don't have to hold the sky. It is holding itself. You don't have to pull the river. It is already flowing. You don't have to keep the heart beating. It beats by grace. When you trust this rhythm, when you align yourself with it, instead of fighting it, your life becomes effortless. You move without moving, act without acting, live without resistance. That is the real meaning of surrender. Not submission, not obedience, but harmony. There is an old Zen saying, sitting quietly doing nothing, spring comes and the grass grows by itself. That is the essence of the miracle. Life does not need your help. Existence has its own intelligence. You are not the master, you are the witness. You are not here to control the flow, you are here to flow with it. Once you understand this, the burden of existence disappears. You are no longer trying to fix what was never broken, to reach what was never distant, to achieve what was never missing. So stop, just stop for a single breath, for a single heartbeat. Drop every effort, every idea, every should and must. Sit quietly. Feel your breath entering and leaving. Don't manipulate it. Let it move as it wishes. Feel the weight of your body, the stillness around you, the hum of being that has always been there. Don't call it God, don't name it, don't imagine it. Just feel. That feeling is prayer. That stillness is meditation. That presence is God. You have searched for eternity. and all that was needed was a single pause. You have carried questions heavier than mountains, and the answer was lighter than air. You were knocking on the door of the divine, unaware that the door was never closed. Only your eyes were. The moment you stop, the door disappears, the seeker disappears, and only the open sky remains. So today, stop running, sit silently, even for a few moments. Don't seek visions, don't repeat mantras, don't imagine heavens. Just be, let life happen through you. Feel the air entering, the body breathing, the heart beating, the mind quieting. In that stillness, you will find something that words can never touch. That is your homecoming. That is the divine recognizing itself in you. And when you rise from that silence, don't leave it behind. Carry it with you into your daily life, into the marketplace, into your relationships, into your laughter and your tears. Live as if every breath is sacred, as if every step is on holy ground, because it is. Don't separate meditation from life. Let life itself become meditation. Let every gesture be prayer, every silence be worship, every breath be gratitude. You have stopped searching. Now it is time to see. The next step is not forward, but inward. In the unfolding of this mystery, we must now confront the greatest barrier that remains, the fear of emptiness itself. For even as you stop, the ego will scream. It will show you its greatest nightmare, the void. But I tell you, that void is not empty. It is the womb of existence. It is the womb from which you came and the womb to which you must return. But the Western mind, the modern mind, has been trained to fear emptiness. You call it nothing, and to you nothing is a negative word. You want something. You want to be somebody. You want a house filled with furniture, a mind filled with thoughts, a life filled with events. You are terrified of the empty room. But look at nature. A seed must become empty of itself to become a tree. If the seed says, I want to remain a seed, I want to keep my identity, it will never know the sky. It must die as a seed to be born as a flower. That dying is the emptiness I speak of. So when you stop searching, when you stop running, you will face this abyss. The ground beneath your feet will disappear. You will feel dizzy. You will feel as if you are falling. And in that moment, the mind will scream, do something, grab something, pray, chant, check your phone, turn on the TV. This is the critical moment. This is the moment of transformation. If you listen to the mind and run back to your toys, you miss the door. But if you can stay in that dizziness, if you can allow yourself to fall, you will discover that there is no bottom. You are not falling to your death. You are falling into the arms of the infinite. You are afraid of being nobody. The whole society teaches you to be somebody. From kindergarten, they tell you, become a doctor, become a president, become famous, become rich. Even in religion, they tell you, become a saint, become holy. It is all the same game, the game of the ego. The ego wants to be big. But God is not big. God is nobody. Look at the sun. Does it have an ego? Look at the rose. Does it shout, I am a rose? No, they simply are. To meet God, you must become like Him. You must become a nobody. This is why I say, drop the search. Because the search is the ego's way of trying to become spiritual somebody. Even your humility is fake. It is just the ego wearing a simple robe. True spirituality is the courage to be absolutely nothing, to be just a space where the wind blows. If you have the courage to be nobody, If you are tired of the heavy burden of being somebody, show your solidarity by hitting the like button. Let us celebrate the beauty of nothingness together. This fear of the void is actually the fear of death. And you must understand death if you want to understand life. They are not opposites, they are two wings of the same bird. You cannot have one without the other. But your civilization hides death. You put it in hospitals. You cover it with flowers. You try to forget it exists. And because you deny death, your life becomes shallow. You search for God because you are afraid of death. You want an insurance policy. You want to know that after the body dies, you will continue. You want a guarantee of immortality. And the priests give you that guarantee for a price. They sell you heaven. But I tell you, there is no future heaven. Immortality is not living forever in time. Immortality is living in the deathless now. When you stop searching, you enter the vertical dimension. Time is horizontal, past to future. Awareness is vertical, here and now. In the vertical, there is no death because there is no time. To experience this, you must learn the art of dying while you are alive. This is what meditation is, a daily rehearsal of death. When you sit silently, you withdraw your energy from the world. You withdraw your energy from the body. You withdraw your energy from thoughts. You become a flame without a wick. In that silence, you die to the world. And in that death, you taste the nectar of the eternal. You realize, I am not the body that will rot. I am not the mind that will dissolve. I am this witnessing consciousness that was never born and will never die. Once you know this, the fear vanishes, and when the fear of death vanishes, the frantic search for God vanishes. Why search for what cannot be lost? Why run when you have arrived? But the mind is stubborn. It will ask, if I become nobody, if I stop striving, how will I survive? Who will feed me? Who will love me? This is the logic of anxiety. Jesus said, look at the lilies of the field. They do not toil, they do not spin. Yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. What was he saying? He was teaching the logic of trust. Existence takes care of its own. You were born without your planning. You breathe without your effort. Your heart beats without your supervision. Why do you think you need to manage everything else? Trust is the highest form of intelligence. It is knowing that you are part of a vast, intelligent whole that knows what it is doing. When you trust, you relax, and in that relaxation, energy that was wasted in worry becomes available for creativity, for love, for celebration. You become a reservoir of power, not power over others, but power within. If you wish to tap into this reservoir, if you need guidance on how to move from anxiety to trust, our community is here for you. Click join to walk this path with friends who are also learning to let go, and for deep insights into the psychology of trust, our ebooks are waiting for you in the description. Now let us speak of something that plagues the modern seeker more than anything else: loneliness. You search for God because you are lonely. You search for lovers because you are lonely. You join clubs, parties, religions because you cannot bear to be alone. But there is a vast difference between loneliness and aloneness. They look the same from the outside, but they are opposites. Loneliness is negative. It is the feeling that something is missing. It is the feeling I am not enough, I need the other to complete me. It is a beggar's bowl. Aloneness is positive. It is the feeling I am complete, I am enough. It is the presence of oneself. It is overflowing. Aloneness is the nature of your being. You were born alone. You will die alone. And in the deepest moments of your life, you are always alone. The search for God is often a flight from loneliness. You treat God as a substitute for a boyfriend, a father, a friend. You talk to Him because you are afraid of the silence. But I say to you, don't run from loneliness. Go into it. If you go deeply into loneliness, a transformation happens. It is like drilling for water. You dig through the dry earth, loneliness, and suddenly you hit the spring, aloneness. The pain of missing the other disappears, and the joy of being yourself arises. Only a person who is capable of being alone is capable of love. This sounds paradoxical, but it is the truth. If you cannot be alone, your love is just a need. You are using the other person to fill your hole. You are exploiting them. You cling to them. You become jealous if they look at someone else because your supply of comfort is threatened. That is not love, that is mutual consumption. But if you are happy in your aloneness, if you do not need the other, then you can share. You can give without asking for anything in return. Your love becomes a gift, not a bargain. You love because you have too much love, and you have to give it to someone, just like a cloud is heavy with rain and has to shower. When you stop searching for God to fill your loneliness, you find the God of aloneness. You find the strength of the lion who walks alone. And in that strength, you can truly relate to the world not as a beggar but as an emperor. This brings us to the quality of your daily life. You ask Osho, how can I live this in the office, in the factory, in the kitchen? It is simple, but it requires awareness. Turn every act into a ceremony. When you make tea, make it with total attention. Listen to the water boiling, smell the tea leaves. Pour it with grace. Feel the warmth of the cup. Taste the first sip. If you can drink a cup of tea with total awareness, you have found God. Because God is not in the theology. He is in the tea. He is in the warmth, the smell, the taste. He is in the suchness of the moment. The Zen masters have known this for centuries. They say when you chop wood, just chop wood. When you carry water, just carry water. This sounds easy, but it is the most difficult thing in the world. Because when you chop wood, you are not just chopping wood. You are arguing with your wife in your head. You are planning your vacation. You are worrying about the bills. You are splitting your energy into 1,000 fragments. Bring your mind back. Let the hands and the mind be in the same place. This integration is yoga. This integration is bliss. Suddenly the ordinary becomes extraordinary. Chopping wood becomes a dance. Carrying water becomes a prayer. You do not need to go to a temple. Your kitchen is the temple. Your office is the sanctuary. The way you type on the keyboard can be a meditation. The way you listen to a client can be an act of love. This is the secret of the alchemist, turning base metal into gold, turning the mundane into the sacred. And the philosopher's stone is awareness. Touch anything with awareness, and it turns into gold. But you are always in a hurry. You run through your breakfast to get to work. You run through your work to get home. You run through your dinner to watch TV. You run through your sleep to get to the morning. You are running toward the grave. Slow down. Taste, smell, touch, see. The divine is hidden in the sensory experience of the world. Your senses are the doors to the divine. Do not deny them. Refine them. A truly religious man is a man of high sensitivity. He is not dull. He feels deeply. When he sees a sunset, he is moved to tears. When he sees suffering, he responds with compassion. His heart is not a stone, it is a musical instrument that resonates with everything around it. This sensitivity is what I call godliness. It is not a belief system. It is a way of perceiving reality. If you are beginning to see how your daily life can become a temple, if you want to support us in building a global temple of awareness, consider using the super thanks button. It allows us to keep these messages free for those who cannot afford them. Now let us look at the mind again. The mind is a tool for survival. It is excellent at solving problems. If your car breaks down, use the mind. If you are building a bridge, use the mind. But the mind is terrible at living. You cannot love with the mind. You cannot enjoy a sunset with the mind. The mind will dissect the sunset. It will analyze the wavelengths of light, but the beauty will be lost. The problem is that you use the mind for everything. You have become a hammer, and everything looks like a nail. You try to solve your life as if it were a problem, but life is not a problem to be solved. It is a mystery to be lived. Drop the problem-solving attitude when you look at yourself. You are not a problem. Your anger is not a problem. Your sadness is not a problem. They are energies. Listen to them. When anger comes, don't say, I should not be angry. Good people are not angry. That is the priest talking in your head. Instead, say, anger is here. Let me watch it. Let me see its color, its heat, its vibration. Close your door, sit alone. Let the anger rise. Watch it like a thunderstorm. It will rage, it will thunder, but if you just watch, it will pass, and it will leave behind a fresh, clean sky, and you will be surprised the energy that was anger, once understood and accepted, transforms into compassion. It is the same electricity, only the voltage has changed. This is the alchemy of acceptance. Whatever you fight persists. Whatever you accept transforms. You have been fighting yourself for too long. That is why you are tired. That is why you are looking for God. You want a referee to stop the fight. But God will not stop the fight. You must drop the sword. You must accept yourself totally, with all your flaws, all your darkness, all your humanity. In that total acceptance, a grace descends. You feel, I am accepted by existence. That feeling is the beginning of holiness. You are perfect as you are. I know the mind will object, me, perfect. But I am a sinner. I am greedy. I am lazy. I am fearful. I say to you, you are perfect because nature does not make mistakes. Your greed, your fear, your laziness, they all have a reason, a season. They are the compost from which your enlightenment will grow. Do not throw away the compost. Without the mud, there is no lotus. Embrace your humanity. Do not try to be an angel. You will become a monster. Just be a human being, simple, vulnerable, open. In that vulnerability, God enters. God cannot enter a fortress. He enters a heart that is broken open. So celebrate your flaws. Laugh at your mistakes. Be light. Do not carry the burden of perfectionism. Perfectionism is a neurosis. Totality is sanity. Be total in your anger, total in your love, total in your laziness. Even if you are lazy, be the best lazy person in the world. Enjoy it. And suddenly, in that enjoyment, the quality changes. The world is heavy because everyone is trying to be something they are not. The politician pretends to be a servant. The priest pretends to be holy. The lover pretends to be faithful. It is a masquerade. Drop the mask. Let the world see your naked face. It is scary, yes, but it is the only way to be free. Jesus said, "The truth shall set you free," but he did not tell you that first. It will make you miserable. It will take away your masks, your crutches, your illusions. It will leave you naked in the cold, but only in that nakedness can you feel the warmth of the sun. And once you taste this freedom, the freedom of no pretense, you will never want to go back to the cage. The cage may be golden, but it is still a cage. The open sky may be dangerous, but it is yours. I invite you to claim your sky. I invite you to spread your wings. The search is over. The flight has begun. In the next part of this communion, we will speak about the ultimate trap, the Guru. Yes, even I can be a trap. We will explore how to be with the Master without creating a new dependency. We will talk about the true meaning of initiation and how to light your own lamp so that you need no other light. But before we go there, sit with this acceptance. Look in the mirror today and say, "I am enough," and mean it. Let us now move into the subtle realm of energy, because when you stop searching with the mind, you start finding with the energy. You are not just a body. You are a bioelectric field, and this field has been knotted up by your repressions. Every time you wanted to scream, and you smiled, a knot was created in your throat. Every time you wanted to cry and you held it back, a knot was created in your chest. Every time you wanted to dance and you sat still, a knot was created in your legs. You are a bundle of knots. That is why energy cannot flow. That is why you don't feel God. God is flow. You are like a garden hose with 1,000 kinks. The water is there at the tap, but it cannot come out. You don't need to pray for water. You need to unkink the hose. This is the purpose of dynamic methods. This is why I ask you to dance, to scream, to breathe chaotically. It is not madness. It is catharsis. It is unkinking the hose. You must throw out the garbage you have collected for centuries. Civilization has made you polite, but it has made you dead. I want you to be alive, even if you are wild. A wild flower is better than a plastic rose. So do not be afraid of your madness. If you feel like shaking, shake. If you feel like gibberish, speak gibberish. Let the mind go crazy. In that craziness, the knots loosen, and suddenly you feel a surge of energy rising up your spine. That is the Kundalini. That is the serpent power. It has nothing to do with beliefs. It is pure physiology of the soul. When that energy hits your 7th chakra, your Sahasrara, you bloom, you become a lotus, and the fragrance of that lotus is what I call prayer. Then you don't need to go to the church. Wherever you walk, you carry the cathedral around you. You create a sacred space wherever you sit. People will come to you and feel peaceful, and they won't know why. They will just like to sit near you. You will become a source, a pool of cool water in a thirsty world. Is this not worth more than all the money in the bank? Is this not the true success? To be a sanctuary for yourself and others. If you want to learn these techniques of unblocking, of catharsis, join our members area. We share the practical methods there, and read the e-books to understand the science behind the madness. The time has come to take responsibility. No one is coming to save you. No Messiah, no avatar. You are the one you have been waiting for. This is the hardest lesson, but also the most liberating. As long as you wait for a savior, you remain a slave. The moment you realize, I am responsible for my joy and my misery, you become the master. If you are miserable, you are creating it. Do not blame your wife, your husband, your boss, the economy. You are the architect of your own hell. And because you are the architect, you can dismantle it. You can build a heaven in the same place. It is the same energy, just a different arrangement. Hell is resistance to what is. Heaven is acceptance of what is. The situation is the same, your attitude changes, and with the attitude the world changes. So stop searching for a better world. Create a better you. A you that is silent, accepting, loving, aware. And suddenly the world will reflect your face. It will smile back at you. We have traveled far in this discourse, from the futility of searching to the fear of the void, from the trap of the ego to the freedom of aloneness. But words are only fingers pointing to the moon. Do not bite the finger, look at the moon. The moon is inside you. As we prepare to enter the next phase of this journey, I want you to understand that what I am giving you is not a philosophy, it is a surgery. I am cutting away the cancer of your conditioning. It hurts. It is scary, but it is the only way to heal. Are you ready to go deeper? Are you ready to drop the last vestiges of your spiritual ego? Because the next step is the most dangerous. It is the step where you drop even the desire for enlightenment. Until you drop the desire for enlightenment, you cannot be enlightened. Enlightenment is not a desire. It is a lack of desire. It is the state where you are so content with what is that you don't want anything else, not even God. Paradox. Yes, life is a paradox. Truth is a paradox. Only lies are straight lines. Truth is a curve, a circle, a spiral. So prepare yourself. We are going to dismantle the spiritual seeker completely. We are going to kill the Buddha on the road. Before we do, make sure you are subscribed. You don't want to miss the death of your ego. It is going to be a spectacular funeral and a joyous resurrection. When the Zen masters say, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him, they do not mean physical violence. They are speaking of the ultimate liberation. As long as you see the Buddha as someone outside of yourself, as a savior, as an idol, as an object of worship, you are still in duality. You are still the observer and he is the observed. You remain a beggar looking at an emperor. To kill the Buddha means to drop the projection. It means to realize that the Buddha is not a person in history, but a quality within your own consciousness. You must destroy the external image to allow the internal reality to be born. As long as you are following, you are not arriving. A follower can never know truth. A follower only knows the back of the leader. I do not want followers. I want friends. I want fellow travelers. A follower is blind. He needs eyes. I want to give you your own eyes. And the moment you can see, you will see that you don't need me. That is the greatest day for a master, when the disciple stands up and says, thank you, now I go my own way. But you are afraid of that freedom. You want to cling, you want a guru to tell you what to eat, when to sleep, whom to marry. You want a father figure because you have not grown up. You are spiritual children. And the priests exploit this childishness. They say, don't worry, we will take care of you, just obey. Obedience is the death of the soul. I teach disobedience, not out of anger, but out of awareness. If your own heart tells you to go left, and the scripture tells you to go right, go left. Trust your own pulse. It is better to make a mistake out of your own freedom than to do right out of slavery. A mistake made in freedom teaches you, a virtue performed in slavery only crushes you. This is the path of the rebel. The rebel does not fight against society, he simply transcends it. He drops the conditioning, he looks at life with fresh eyes. If you feel this rebellion stirring in your blood, if you are ready to stop being a sheep and become a lion, express it by hitting the like button. Let the world know that a lion has awakened. Now let us speak of the spiritual ego. This is the most dangerous ego of all. The worldly ego is gross, you can see it. A man bragging about his money, his power, his big car, that is easy to spot. But the spiritual ego is subtle. It hides behind simplicity. It hides behind silence. A man comes to me and says, I am the most humble man in the world. Do you see the contradiction? If you know you are humble, you are not. Humility is not an awareness of I am humble. Humility is the absence of I. You see people competing in spirituality. I fasted for 10 days. Oh really? I fasted for 20 days. I meditate for 2 hours. I meditate for 4. It is the same competition, the same marketplace. Before you were competing for money, now you are competing for holiness, but the ego is still the manager. You have simply changed the object of your greed. Before you were greedy for gold, now you are greedy for God. But greed is greed. It does not matter what the object is, the quality of the mind remains the same. You must drop the holier than thou attitude. A truly religious man feels that he is no one special. In fact, he sees that everything is special. The rock is special, the dog is special, the criminal is special. He sees the same divinity playing different roles. He judges no one. Jesus said, "Judge not, that ye be not judged." But look at the Christians. They are the greatest judges. They have categorized the whole world, sinners and saints, believers and pagans. They have missed the whole point. To be with Christ means to drop the gavel. It means to look at a prostitute and see the innocence, to look at a thief and see the divine energy that has gone astray. When you drop judgment, a great weight is lifted from your shoulders. You don't have to be the policeman of the universe. You can relax, and in that relaxation, compassion arises. If you are struggling with judgment, if you find yourself constantly criticizing yourself and others, we have specific meditations to dissolve this habit in our members area. Click Join to access these tools. And for a deeper understanding of the psychology of the ego, read our ebooks linked in the description. Let us move to the trap of technique. I give you many techniques: dynamic meditation, Kundalini, Nada Brahma. But remember, the technique is a boat. You use it to cross the river. Once you reach the other shore, you leave the boat. You don't put the boat on your head and carry it into the marketplace. That would be insane. But I see many sannyasins doing this. They become addicted to the meditation technique. They think the technique is the meditation. No, the technique is just a way to create a situation where meditation might happen. Meditation is the silence that follows the technique. Dynamic meditation is to exhaust the body, to throw out the garbage. When the jumping stops, when the shouting stops, and you freeze, that is the meditation, that silence, that gap. Don't cling to the method. Be ready to drop it. A day will come when you don't need to jump or scream. You just sit and you are there. You just close your eyes and the connection is made. That is maturity. But until that day comes, use the boat. Don't say, Osho said, drop the boat, so I will not meditate. If you are still in the middle of the river and you drop the boat, you will drown. Use it, master it, and then transcend it. This brings us to the relationship between awareness and love. These are the two paths to the divine, the path of wisdom, meditation, and the path of devotion, love. Ultimately, they meet. If you meditate deeply, sooner or later, love will arise. You will feel so full of silence that you will want to share it. That sharing is love. And if you love deeply, sooner or later awareness will arise. Because when you love someone, you disappear. The ego dissolves in the presence of the beloved. And in that absence of ego, awareness happens. So whether you start with meditation or you start with love, you arrive at the same peak. But in the beginning, you must choose what fits your nature. Are you a head person or a heart person? If you are intellectual, logical, start with meditation. Watch the thoughts. Sharpen the awareness. If you are emotional, feeling-oriented, start with love. Sing, dance, surrender. But remember, love without awareness can become a bondage. It becomes attachment. You cling to the other. You suffocate them. You say, I love you, so you must do what I say. That is not love, that is politics. And awareness without love can become cold. You become like a stone statue, peaceful, yes, but dead. No juice, no warmth. You don't care if the world lives or dies. I want a synthesis. I want you to be as sharp as a sword in your awareness and as soft as a lotus in your love. When these two meet, the sword and the lotus, you are whole. This wholeness is what I call the new man. The old man was divided. The body was against the soul. The earth was against heaven. The West is materialist. The East is spiritualist. Both are lopsided. I teach a global spirituality. Materialism is good. It gives you comfort, science, technology. Use it. Don't live in poverty. Poverty is not spiritual. It is just ugly. Create wealth, create beauty, but don't get lost in it. Use the matter as a base and let the spirit be the peak. Be a rich man in the outer world and be an emperor in the inner world. Why choose? Have both worlds. Existence is abundant. It gives you stars and it gives you flowers. It gives you the body and the soul. Claim your total inheritance. But society is afraid of the whole man. Society wants fragments. It wants you to be a specialist, just a doctor, just an engineer. It puts blinders on you. It conditions you from birth. Conditioning is the process of hypnosis. Your parents told you you are a Christian and you believed it. If you were born in a Hindu family, they told you you are a Hindu and you believed it. You are neither. You are pure consciousness entered into a body. Christianity is a shirt you wear. Hinduism is a hat you put on. Don't mistake the clothing for the being. I am here to dehypnotize you, to snap my fingers and wake you up from the trance of society. They have told you that you are a sinner. I tell you that you are a god. They have told you to fear hell. I tell you to create heaven right now. This deconditioning is painful. It feels like peeling your skin because you have become so attached to your lies. You think your lies are your security, but they are your prison. When you start peeling the onion of your conditioning, tears will come to your eyes. It hurts. You will realize that everything you thought you were is false. Your name, your fame, your religion, your nationality, all fictions. What remains when all the fictions are gone? A vast emptiness? No, a vast presence. You are not John or Maria, you are the witness of John and Maria. You are the eternal watcher. To live as this watcher in the world, that is the challenge. When you are angry, the watcher says, I see anger. It does not say, I am angry. Do you see the difference? It is a quantum leap. I am angry means you have identified with the cloud. I see anger means you are the sky. The sky is never angry. The sky just holds the cloud, allows it to pass, and remains blue. Be the sky. This shift from identification to witnessing is the secret key. It unlocks every door. When you are depressed, don't try to force yourself to be happy. That is repression. Just watch the depression. Say, hello, depression. You are here again. Make yourself comfortable. Don't fight it. If you fight it, you give it energy. If you watch it indifferently, it starves. It will hang around for a while. It has momentum from the past, but eventually, finding no food, it will leave. And when it leaves behind a depth. Sorrow digs the well into which joy can flow. A man who has never been deep in sorrow cannot contain deep joy. He remains shallow. So welcome everything. The guest house, Rumi was right. This being is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Welcome and entertain them all. This acceptance is what makes you vast. You become big enough to contain contradictions. You become like Walt Whitman, who said, do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large, I contain multitudes. Yes, be large. Don't be a narrow-minded, consistent man. A consistent man is a boring man. Be inconsistent, be fluid, flow like water, changing shape with every container, yet remaining water. Now, let us speak about energy and sex, because you cannot speak of God without speaking of sex. They are the same energy. Sex is the raw material. God is the finished product. The religions have condemned sex. They have made you feel guilty about your biology. This is the greatest crime against humanity. By condemning the root, they have destroyed the flower. If you cut the roots of a rose bush because they are in the dirty mud, you will never get the rose. Sex is the root. It is the life force. Karma. Do not repress it. If you repress sex, it becomes ugly. It enters your dreams. It becomes perversion. It becomes obsession. Look at the monks and the priest. They are obsessed with sex. They think about it more than ordinary people because they are fighting it. I say, accept your sexuality with deep reverence. It is the source of life. It is how you were born. It is how life continues. There is nothing sinful about it. It is sacred, but don't remain stuck there. Sex is the beginning, not the end. Through meditation, transform this energy. As you become more silent, the energy moves upwards. It changes quality. The same heat that was lust becomes warmth that is love. And as it moves even higher, it becomes the cool light of compassion. And at the highest point, it becomes prayer. It is the same energy, just refined like crude oil can become high-octane fuel for an airplane. You are running on crude oil. I want you to fly. but you cannot fly by denying the fuel. You must refine it. This alchemy from sex to superconsciousness is the core of Tantra. Tantra is the only science that accepts man totally. It does not say no to anything. It says yes to everything, but with awareness. Make love, but with awareness. Don't do it mechanically. Don't do it just to relieve tension. Make it a meditation. Look into the eyes of your partner. Feel the energy merging. Move slowly. If you bring awareness into the act of sex, it ceases to be just physical. It becomes a bridge to the divine. You can have a glimpse of God in a deep orgasm, because in that moment time stops, the ego disappears and you are part of the cosmic dance. That is why people are so addicted to sex, not for the physical pleasure alone, but for that moment of time stopping, ego dissolving bliss. But it is fleeting. I want to give you that bliss permanently, not through friction, but through inner fusion. If this radical approach to life, this total acceptance of your humanity resonates with you, support the channel with a super thanks. Help us take the guilt out of religion. Help us bring laughter back to the sacred. And if you want to understand the alchemy of energy, how to move from the lower centers to the higher, our ebooks on Tantra and energy transformation are essential reading. They are manuals for your own inner engineering. Now, as we approach the silence again, I want to talk about the concept of future. The mind is always weaving future. Next year I will be better. Next year I will be rich. The future is the opium of the people. It keeps you drugged. It keeps you tolerating a miserable present in the hope of a glorious tomorrow. But I tell you, tomorrow never comes. It is always today. If you are miserable today and you think you will be happy tomorrow, you are deluding yourself. Because tomorrow you will still be you. You will have the same habits, the same mind. You will just drag your misery into the new day. To change, you must change now. Change is always in the present. If you want to be happy now. There is no other time. But Osho, how can I be happy when I have so many problems? You have problems because you are focusing on them. Shift the focus. Look at the sky. Is there a problem? Look at the tree. Is there a problem? The problem is only in your psychological memory. Step out of the mind and you step out of the problem. It is not that the situation disappears. The rent is still due. The leg is still broken. But it is no longer a problem. It is a fact. And facts can be dealt with. Problems are psychological burdens. Facts are existential realities. You fix the broken leg, you pay the rent, you don't carry them around in your head 24 hours a day. Living in the here and now means living functionally, not psychologically. You use the past as a library of information, not as an emotional hang-up. You use the future for planning a train ticket, not for worrying. This simplicity is what I call the art of living. A Zen master was asked, "What is your secret?" He said, "When I am hungry, I eat. When I am tired, I sleep." The student said, "But everyone does that." The master laughed. "No, when you eat, you are thinking of 1,000 things. When you sleep, you are dreaming of 1,000 things. When I eat, I just eat. When I sleep, I just sleep. Just, that is the magic word. just eating, just walking, just listening. Can you do it? Can you just listen to my voice right now without interpreting, without judging, without comparing? Just letting the sound vibrate in your ears? If you can, in this very moment, you are free. The chains are broken. You are not the body, not the mind, not the past. You are this pure vibrating awareness. And this awareness is your connection to the source. You don't need a priest. You have a direct line. The line is always open. You have just left the receiver off the hook because you are too busy talking to yourself. Put the receiver back. Listen. The universe is calling you. It is calling you to come home, not to a geographical place, but to an existential space, a space of rest, samadhi. Samadhi is not a serious affair. It is a returning to your natural state. When a child is born, he is in samadhi. He does not know. He is separate. He stares at the light with wonder. Then society teaches him, this is a chair, this is a table. You are a boy, you are white, you are black. The distinctions begin. The samadhi is lost. We are here to regain that childhood, but with a difference. The child's innocence is ignorant. He doesn't know. The sage's innocence is knowing. He has known the world. He has known the corruption, and he has chosen to drop it. He is innocent despite experience. That is a higher innocence. I invite you to this second childhood. Jesus said, unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of God. He was not talking about age. He was talking about the quality of the mind, a mind that is fresh, curious, full of wonder. Look at your eyes. Are they dull? Are they filled with dust? Or are they sparkling with wonder? If you have lost the wonder, you have lost God. Because God is the mystery. He is not the explanation. Science tries to explain. Religion tries to experience the unexplained. The more you know, the less you know. The ultimate sage is one who knows nothing. He just stands in awe. That is his mantra. He looks at the sunrise and says, He looks at the flower and says, That is the true prayer. It is better than any Sanskrit shloka, better than any Latin mass. It is the heart responding to the beauty of the unknown. Recover your Stop being so knowledgeable. Knowledge is borrowed. Wisdom is your own. Knowledge answers questions. Wisdom dissolves them. I am not here to answer your questions. I am here to dissolve them. I want to leave you without questions. When you have no questions, you have the answer. The answer is not a sentence. The answer is a state of being, silence. In the final part of this series, we will move into the practical application of this silence in a chaotic world. We will talk about how to deal with difficult people, how to handle grief, and how to face the ultimate test, death. We will talk about the art of dying, which is really the art of living. But for now, sit with your innocence, drop your knowledge, be a child again. And in that childish wonder, you will find what you have been seeking for lifetimes. And when you regain that wonder, you will see that the world is not a battlefield, but a playground. But I hear your question, Osho. It is easy to feel wonder at a flower, but what about my boss? What about my neighbor? What about the people who make my life a hell? This is where the rubber meets the road. It is easy to be spiritual in a garden. It is a test of fire to be spiritual in a crowd. You ask me how to deal with difficult people. I say to you, there are no difficult people. There are only people who reveal your own difficulties. The other is a mirror. If someone comes and shouts at you and you get angry, what does it mean? It means the anger was already inside you, waiting for an excuse to come out. The other person just pressed the button. He is not the creator of your anger. He is the messenger. Instead of being mad at the messenger, thank him. He has shown you a wound you didn't know you had. He has exposed your hidden madness. He is a guru in disguise. If you can see it this way, the whole dynamic changes. When someone insults you, don't react. Just watch. Feel the hit. The ego is hurt. Interesting. If you don't react, if you remain silent and smiling, you drive the other person crazy. He expects a fight. He wants you to throw the ball back. If you drop the ball, he is left standing there with his own anger, looking foolish. This is the art of Aikido in relationships. You don't resist the energy, you let it pass through you. If you are empty, if you are a void, the arrow passes through and hits nothing. It can only hurt you if you are a solid wall of ego. Be space. You cannot hurt space. You can stab a sword into the sky. Does the sky bleed? So the next time someone attacks you, become the sky. It is a game. Play it. And you will see that the difficult person suddenly loses their power over you. They only had power because you gave them your reaction. You gave them your remote control. Take the remote control back. If you are ready to take back your remote control, if you are ready to stop being a puppet of other people's opinions, press the like button. Let it be a declaration of your emotional independence. Now, let us move to a darker subject, one that you try to avoid but which hangs over everyone: grief, loss. You love someone and they leave or they die, and you are left with a gaping hole in your chest. You feel you will never be happy again. You cry, you scream, or worse, you suppress it and pretend to be strong. Society tells you, don't cry, be a man, move on. Society is stupid. I say to you, cry, weep, go into the depths of your sorrow. Grief is not an enemy. Grief is just love that has nowhere to go. The object of love is gone, so the energy turns back on itself and becomes heavy. But if you allow it, if you express it totally, grief cleanses you. Tears are the holy water of the soul. Do not hold them back. If you repress grief, it becomes a stone in your heart. It will block your capacity to love again. You will become afraid of love because you are afraid of the pain of loss. You will close your doors. Don't close the doors. Keep the heart open, even if it hurts. A broken heart is better than a stone heart, because through the cracks of a broken heart, the light can enter. And remember, nothing is ever truly lost. The form changes, but the essence remains. The wave crashes on the shore and disappears, but the water returns to the ocean. Your beloved has returned to the ocean. If you are silent enough, you can still feel their presence, not as a body, but as a fragrance in the air. This brings us to the ultimate taboo, death, the art of dying. You are afraid of death because you think it is the end. It is not the end. It is a crescendo. It is the climax of life. Life is the preparation. Death is the final exam. And how you die proves how you have lived. If you have lived in fear, you will die in fear, clinging to the bed sheets, screaming for one more day. If you have lived in love, in laughter, in awareness, you will welcome death like a guest. You will embrace it. I teach you to celebrate death. When a sannyasin leaves his body, we dance, we sing, we celebrate his liberation. He has jumped out of the wheel. He is free from the cage of the body. Why be sad? Sadness is for yourself, because you will miss him. It is selfish. For him it is a great freedom. If you can learn to accept death, not as a tragedy but as a transformation, your life will lose all its tension. The tension is, I must survive, but you will not survive. Make peace with this fact. The body is a rental car. You have to return it. Enjoy the ride, drive it well, take care of it, but don't think you are the car. When you know you are the driver, not the car, death is just stepping out of the vehicle. If you want to understand this deeper, if you want to lose the fear of the abyss, our e-books on the art of dying are essential. They will change your perspective completely. And if you want to support this message of life affirmation, consider a super thanks. Now, consider the cosmic joke. The biggest joke is that you are searching for what you already have. You are the emperor acting like a beggar. When you finally realize this, when the cosmic alarm clock rings, you will not just smile, you will laugh. A great belly laugh that shakes the foundations of the earth. You will laugh at your own stupidity. My God, I was running in circles. And that laughter is the sound of enlightenment. Seriousness is a disease. The saints in the churches look so serious, so long-faced. They look as if they are constipated. They think God is a serious business. But look at a dolphin jumping in the sea. Look at a monkey swinging from a tree. Existence is playful. I want you to be playful. Don't make spirituality a work. Make it a hobby. Make it fun. If meditation is boring, you are doing it wrong. Change the method. Dance, hum, swim. The goal is not to become a statue. The goal is to become fluid, to flow like water. Water takes the shape of the container, but it never loses its nature. It is soft, but it cuts through rock. Be like water, soft, yielding, yet persistent. And in this fluidity you will find that discipline is not a dirty word. Discipline does not mean following orders. The root of the word discipline is disciple, one who is ready to learn. Discipline means the ability to learn, the openness to the new. A disciplined man is not a rigid man. He is a man who is always ready to drop the old and embrace the new. He dies to the past every moment. He carries no luggage. Imagine you are on a train. You have a heavy suitcase. You can put it on your head and sit, or you can put it on the floor and sit. The train carries you in both cases. But if you put it on your head, you suffer. Drop the suitcase. The suitcase of your past, your grudges, your story. The train of existence is carrying you anyway. Why carry the weight? But Osho, if I drop my past, who am I? That is the fear. You are afraid that without your history you are nothing. And you are right, you are nothing. And that is beautiful. Nothingness is not empty. It is full of potential. A blank canvas is nothing, but it can become a masterpiece. A painted canvas is finished, dead. Be a blank canvas. Every morning wake up as a nobody. Don't remember who you were yesterday. Start fresh. Look at your wife as if you are meeting her for the first time. Look at the sun as if it is the first dawn. This freshness is what keeps love alive. Why do marriages die? Because you think you know your partner. Oh, I know him, I know what he will say. You have created an image. You are living with an image, not a person. And he is living with an image of you. It is two images sleeping in a bed. No wonder it is boring. Break the images. Look again. The person is a river. They are changing every moment. You cannot step into the same river twice, and you cannot meet the same person twice. If you have the eyes to see, every meeting is a first date. If you want to bring this freshness into your relationships, if you want to turn your marriage into an affair, join our members' community. We discuss the tantra of relationships, how to use relationship as a mirror for awakening. Now let us speak of intuition. The society trains your intellect, but it kills your intuition. Intellect is the head. Intuition is the gut. Intellect acts on logic. Intuition acts on a hunch. Logic is useful for dead things. Use logic for mathematics, but for life use intuition. Women have retained a little more intuition than men. They know things without knowing how they know. A mother knows when her child is sick, even if she is miles away. That is not logic, that is a connection of the heart. I want you to trust your hunches. They come from a deeper place than your brain. They come from your biology, from your connection to the whole. The more you trust them, the stronger they become. Sometimes intuition says, don't go there. Logic says, why not? It is profitable. You listen to logic, you go, and you have an accident. Then you say, I had a feeling. That feeling was the voice of God. God does not speak in English or Sanskrit. He speaks in feelings, in nudges, in silence. To hear him, you have to turn down the volume of the mind. The mind is like a radio that is always on, blaring static. You cannot hear the birds singing outside because the radio is too loud. Meditation is just turning the knob, turning the volume down. When the radio stops, the birds are heard. The birds were always singing. You were just deafened by your own noise. And the loudest noise is the noise of I want, desire. Desire is the noise. I want this. I want that. As long as you want, you cannot hear. Does this mean you should stop desiring? No, that is another trap. If you desire to stop desiring, that is still a desire. It is a double bind. Just see the desire, see its futility. You have desired 1,000 things in the past. Did they bring you peace? They brought a moment of pleasure, followed by the fear of losing it or the boredom of having it. Then a new desire arose. It is a treadmill. You run and run, but you don't go anywhere. Seeing the treadmill as a treadmill is the beginning of getting off. You don't have to force yourself off. You just stop running. You step sideways. That sideways step is the quantum leap. It is the step from time into eternity. And in that eternity, you realize that you are not the wave, you are the ocean. The wave thinks, I am small, I will die when I hit the shore. The ocean knows, I am vast, I cannot die. Identify with the ocean. This is the essence of Vedanta, of Sufism, of Zen. The language is different, the pointer is different, but the moon is the same. Do not get caught in the words. Words are dangerous. The word God has caused more bloodshed than any other word. Drop the word, keep the experience. If you meet a Christian, don't argue about Jesus. Look into his eyes. Does he have the peace? If yes, drink from him. If you meet a Buddhist, don't argue about nirvana. Look at his compassion. If it is there, sit with him. Seek the fragrance, not the label. A plastic flower can have a label rose, but it has no scent. A real weed might have a beautiful scent. Choose the weed over the plastic rose. Be authentic. Authenticity is the only prayer. Be real. If you are angry, be authentically angry. Don't smile a false smile. A false smile is worse than a real frown. A real frown has some beauty, it is true. A false smile is ugly, it is a deception. I want you to be so authentic that you become transparent. Nothing to hide, an open book. When you have nothing to hide, fear disappears. Fear is always the fear of being exposed. If they know who I really am, they will reject me. Let them reject. It is better to be rejected for who you are than to be accepted for who you are not. If they accept your mask, what is the value? They don't love you, they love the mask. You remain lonely behind the mask. Take the risk, take the mask off. It will shock people. Some will leave, let them leave. They were not for you. But those who stay will fall in love with your reality, and that love will nourish you. If you are ready to drop the mask, if you are ready to be naked before the world, hit like. It is a vote for truth. And now, as we move towards the conclusion of this vast journey, I want to talk about service, server. Many religions teach service, serve the poor, serve the sick, but often this service is just another ego trip. Look how good I am helping the poor. You are using the poor as a stepping stone to heaven. You are exploiting them. True service is not a duty. It is a shadowing of your joy. You are so happy that you want to share. You help the poor not to save your soul, but because you cannot help it. It is your nature. Like a flower gives perfume, it doesn't matter if a king passes by or a beggar. The flower gives. Don't serve out of guilt, serve out of overflow. If you are miserable, please don't serve others. You will infect them with your misery. A miserable person serving the sick will make the sick more sick. First, be selfish. Yes, I teach selfishness. First, fill your own cup. Be so full of joy, bliss, and silence that it starts spilling over. That spillover is service. Then you don't keep account. You don't say, I helped 10 people today. You don't even remember. It just happened. When your left hand gives, your right hand should not know. That is the beauty of spontaneous service. And the greatest service you can do for the world is to be happy. A happy person is a blessing to the environment. He changes the climate. When you enter a room, do you bring a light or a shadow? Be a light. Just by your being, let others feel a little lighter, a little more hopeful. That is the only revolution that works. Political revolutions have failed. We need a spiritual revolution, a revolution of joy. If you want to be a soldier in this revolution of joy, you know what to do. Subscribe, share, join. These are the weapons of our revolution, weapons of love. Now let us address the final illusion, the illusion that you need to be fixed. You go to therapists, gurus, counselors, asking to be fixed. I am broken. You are not broken. You are just asleep. A sleeping man is not broken. He just needs a shake. I am here to shake you. I am not a mechanic. I am an alarm clock. Don't analyze your sleep. Don't analyze your dreams. Just wake up. When you wake up, the nightmare of the monster chasing you disappears. You don't have to kill the monster. You just have to open your eyes. Psychology analyzes the darkness. Meditation turns on the light. I am not against psychology, but it is a long, slow process. It digs into the past. Your mother did this, your father did that. it creates a huge story. Meditation cuts the Gordian knot with one stroke. It says, you are not the mind, finish. The whole story of mother and father is in the mind. If you step out of the mind, the story collapses. You are free instantly. It is a sudden enlightenment. It does not take time. It takes understanding. But Osho, surely it takes time to clear the karma? Karma is also in the mind. It is the memory of the past. If you disconnect from the mind, the karma hangs there, but it has no hook to catch you. You are slippery. You slide out of the grip of karma. This is the meaning of forgiveness of sins. It doesn't mean a God sits there and erases your file. It means you have moved to a dimension where the file does not exist. You have moved from the horizontal to the vertical. In the vertical, you are innocent, always have been, always will be. Feel this innocence right now. Close your eyes for a second. Is there any guilt right now? Any worry right now? Or is there just a silent hum of existence? That hum is your original face, the face you had before your parents were born. As we reach the end of this section, I want to leave you with a paradox to contemplate. To find yourself, you must lose yourself. To be full, you must be empty. To live, you must die. Don't try to solve it with logic. Drink it. Let it sink into your belly. Let it confuse the mind. Confusion is good. It means the mind is failing. And when the mind fails, the heart prevails. In the final part of this series, we will simply sit together. I will speak less and convey more. We will enter the space where words are not needed, but where words are used only to create silence. We will seal this transmission. But before that, take a moment to check the description. Our ebooks are there to keep you company on this pathless path. And your super thanks ensures that this path remains open for all. Prepare yourself. The finale is not an ending. It is a beginning of a new way of being. And this new way of being begins with a fundamental shift in how you relate to the concept of meaning. You are constantly asking, what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of my existence? This question is the wrong question. It assumes that life is a business, that it must have a profit, a result, a bottom line. But look at a rose. What is the meaning of a rose? It has no meaning. It has beauty, it has fragrance, it has aliveness but no meaning. It is not there to achieve anything. It is there just to be. Look at a child playing on the beach. He builds a castle and then he jumps on it and destroys it. He laughs. What was the meaning? Nothing. It was pure play. Life is not a business. Life is a play. In Sanskrit, we call it Leela. It is the cosmic play of the divine. God is not working, God is playing. He is painting the sunset, sculpting the mountains, choreographing the dance of the galaxies. There is no point to it other than the joy of doing it. If you want to be with God, you must learn to play. Drop your seriousness. Drop your purpose. A purposeless life is a spiritual life. I know this shocks you. Purposeless. But I must have a goal. That is the ego speaking. The ego feeds on goals. I must become a millionaire. I must become a saint. I must save the world. All goals are future-oriented. When you drop the goal, you fall into the present. And the present is where the juice is. When you listen to music, do you listen to reach the end of the song? Is the goal of the symphony the final crashing note? No. The joy is in the melody, moment by moment. If the goal were the end, the fastest conductor would be the best conductor. Live your life like music. Don't run to the grave. Dance to the grave. Let every step be a dance move. And when you live this way, you become dangerous to society. Society wants productive machines, not playful dancers. A dancer is unpredictable. A machine is predictable. They want you to be a cog in the wheel, but I want you to be a wild flower in the wind, useless perhaps in the eyes of the bank manager, but utterly valuable in the eyes of existence. If you are ready to embrace this uselessness, this divine play, if you are brave enough to step out of the factory line, show it by clicking the like button. Let us start a conspiracy of playfulness. Now let us talk about compassion. You have heard this word many times. But what is it? Is it pity? No. Pity is looking down on someone. Poor man, I am so much better than him. Let me help him. Pity strengthens the ego. Compassion is looking across at someone. It is seeing yourself in them. It is realizing the same fire that burns in me burns in him. He is just caught in a different dream. Compassion is not an act. It is a radiation. When you are silent, when you are full of love, compassion flows from you like light from a lamp. You don't have to do anything. Just sitting near a compassionate man, you feel healed. The Buddhists talk about the bodhisattva, the one who delays his own ultimate disappearance to help others wake up. This is the ultimate luxury of compassion. He stands on the threshold of the absolute, but he looks back, he hears the cries of those still sleeping, and he says, I will wait, I will keep coming back until the last blade of grass is enlightened. This is a poetic way of saying that we are all one. I cannot truly be free until you are free, because you are part of me. My hand cannot be healthy if my foot is gangrenous. We are one organism. So when you hurt another, you hurt yourself. When you cheat another, you cheat yourself. This is not a moral commandment. It is a scientific fact of consciousness. Once you see this, you naturally stop hurting. You don't need thou shalt not kill. You simply cannot kill, because it would be suicide. This is the difference between morality and consciousness. Morality is imposed from the outside. Do this, don't do that. It creates hypocrites. Consciousness grows from the inside. I see, so I act. It creates authentic human beings. I don't give you commandments, I give you consciousness. I don't give you a map, I give you a light. With the light, you can make your own map. If you want to deepen this light, if you want to fuel this flame of awareness, our members area is a gathering of fire keepers. Join us, and if you want to understand the difference between the moralist and the mystic, read our ebooks. They clarify the confusion. Now, a word about doubts. The mind is a doubt manufacturing machine. It doubts everything. It doubts me. It doubts the teaching. It doubts itself. Good. Doubt is better than belief. Belief is a cover-up. You doubt, so you cover it with a belief to feel secure. I believe in God. Why? Because you doubt Him. If you knew Him, you wouldn't need to believe. Do you believe in the sun? No, you see it, you feel it. So don't repress your doubt. Sharpen it. Doubt to the very end. Doubt the scriptures. Doubt the priests. Doubt the traditions. Use doubt as a sword to cut through the lies. But, and this is the turning point, eventually you must turn the sword of doubt upon the doubter. Who is doubting? Doubt the mind itself. When you doubt the doubter, the mind collapses, and what remains is trust. Not belief, but trust. Shraddha. Trust is not blind. Trust is the eyes of the heart. You trust the river to take you to the ocean. You trust the seed to become a tree. You trust that existence is not an accident but a home. To move from doubt to trust is the greatest quantum leap. It cannot be explained logically. It is a love affair. You fall in love with existence, and suddenly you feel held. You feel supported. But Osho, what if I trust and I am cheated? So what? You were cheated of some money, but your trust remains pure. The man who cheated you lost his integrity. You kept your innocence. Who is the winner? The one who trusts is always the winner, even if he loses everything material, because he has saved his soul. He has not allowed the world to corrupt his heart. Be vulnerable. To be vulnerable means to take the armor off. Yes, you can be hurt, but you can also be touched. If you wear armor, no one can hurt you, but no one can touch you either. You will live in a steel can, safe but dead. Choose life. Choose danger. Choose vulnerability. And in that vulnerability, you will discover the power of grace. Grace is not something you earn. If you earn it, it is wages, not grace. Grace is something that descends when you are open. It is a gift. You cannot demand grace. You can only be a hollow bamboo and wait. And it always comes. It is raining grace all the time, but your bowl is turned upside down. You are so full of your own ego, your own plans, that the grace rolls off. Turn the bowl right side up, empty yourself, and suddenly you are filled with a nectar that is not of this world. This brings us to the concept of surrender again. I cannot emphasize it enough. Surrender is not defeat. In war, surrender is defeat. In love, surrender is victory. When you surrender to the whole, you are not losing yourself. You are expanding into the whole. The drop surrenders to the ocean. Does it lose? No, it becomes the ocean. It becomes vast, deep, eternal. You are holding on to your dropness because you are afraid. If I become the ocean, I won't be me anymore. Yes, you won't be there, but something far greater will be there. Are you ready to trade the drop for the ocean? It is a bargain. You give your misery, your anxiety, your smallness, and you get bliss, peace, and vastness. Why do you hesitate? Because the ego is a bad businessman. It clings to the pennies and ignores the diamonds. I am here to teach you good business, spiritual business. Give me your junk and take my gold. But Osho, how do I surrender? Again, the how. The mind always asks how. There is no how. Surrender is a realization. You realize that you are not in control anyway. Who is beating your heart? You who is digesting your food. You who is spinning the earth. You are not doing anything of importance. It is all happening. It is doing it. When you see this, surrender happens. You just relax into the flow. You stop swimming upstream. You float. And when you float, the river takes you. The river knows the way to the sea. You don't need a map. You just need to trust the river. If you are tired of swimming upstream, if you are exhausted from fighting life, maybe it is time to float. Support this channel with a super thanks as a gesture of dropping the struggle. Let it be your offering to the river. Now let us speak of silence and sound. Silence is not the absence of sound. That is a dead silence. The silence of a cemetery is absence. The silence of a mystic is a presence. It is a hum. It is a song without words. You can hear this silence even in the marketplace. It is the background of all sound. Just as the white paper is the background of the black words, silence is the background of all noise. Shift your focus. Usually you focus on the noise. Start focusing on the silence between the noises. Between two car honks, there is a gap. Listen to the gap. Between two thoughts, there is a gap. Watch the gap. As you focus on the gaps, they get bigger. The silence expands. It starts eating the noise. Eventually, the noise becomes just a tiny ripple on a vast lake of silence. You are the lake, and from this silence, true words are born. Words that have power, words that heal. When you speak, let your words come from this silence. Don't speak from the head, speak from the belly, from the silence. Then your words will be poetry. They will go deep into the listener's heart. This is why you listen to me, not because of my logic. I am often illogical. I contradict myself. You listen because of the silence between my words. My words are just carriers. They carry the wine of silence. Get drunk on it. Don't analyze the bottle. Drink the wine. And what is the taste of this wine? It is bliss. Ananda. Bliss is not happiness. Happiness has a cause. I won the lottery. I am happy. My wife smiled. I am happy. Happiness depends on the outside. If the wife frowns, happiness turns to unhappiness. Bliss is causeless. It bubbles up from within. You are blissful for no reason at all. Just because you are alive. Just because you are breathing. This causeless joy is the mark of a sage. If you see a man who is happy only when things go well, he is not a sage. A sage is happy even when things go wrong. He laughs when his house burns down. Look, what a beautiful fire. This sounds crazy to the world, but the world is crazy. To be sane in an insane asylum, you have to appear crazy. I invite you to this craziness, the craziness of causeless joy. Start today. Smile for no reason. People will ask, why are you smiling? Tell them, why not? Confuse them. Break their serious patterns. Be a mischievous mystic. Don't be a serious saint. Serious saints have done enough damage. We need laughing Buddhas. If you are ready to be a laughing Buddha, if you are ready to take life less seriously and live it more totally, subscribe to this channel. We are building an army of laughing Buddhas. And finally, let us touch on eternity again. You are always worried about wasting time. You say, I am getting old. I have not achieved anything. Relax. You have eternity. You have lived millions of times before, and you will live millions of times again. There is no rush. Existence is very patient. When you drop the hurry, stress disappears. Stress is just the gap between where you are and where you think you should be. If you are happy where you are, there is no stress. Be here, be now. This moment is the only moment there is, and it is perfect. Look at it. Is anything missing? The birds are singing. The heart is beating. The breath is flowing. What is missing? Only your psychological projection is saying something is missing. Drop the projection. Return to the reality. The reality is fullness. Parnam. From the whole comes. Take the whole from the whole, and the whole remains. You are whole. You are complete. You are the universe masquerading as a person. Stop searching. Start celebrating. In the next and final part, we will bring all these threads together into a single knot of understanding. And then we will cut the knot. We will end the discourse, not with a period, but with an exclamation mark. We will talk about the final leap, the leap from doing to being permanently, the state of Sahaj Samadhi, natural enlightenment. But until then, practice the art of floating, practice the art of laughter, and remember, you are the one you have been looking for. Check the e-books for the map. Use super thanks to fuel the journey. But remember, you are the traveler, the path, and the destination. And when you celebrate, you realize that the celebration does not need an occasion. You don't wait for a birthday or a festival. Your breath is the occasion. Your heartbeat is the festival. This brings us to the highest state of consciousness, which in the East we call Sahaj Samadhi, natural enlightenment. This is where most seekers get lost. They think enlightenment is a special state, like being high on a drug. They think they will see lights, hear angels, and float 3 feet above the ground. That is not enlightenment, that is hallucination. Enlightenment is the most ordinary state. It is simply being perfectly human. It is being hungry when you are hungry and sleeping when you are sleepy, but with a quality of total presence. The Zen masters have a beautiful series of pictures called the 10 Bulls. It depicts the seeker's journey. In the beginning, he searches for the bull, the truth, then he finds footprints, then he sees the bull, then he catches the bull, then he tames the bull, then he rides the bull home, then the bull and the self are both forgotten. But the final picture, the 10th picture, is the most important. It shows the master returning to the marketplace. He is carrying a bottle of wine, he is laughing, he is mixing with the butchers and the drunkards. He is no longer holy. He has become so ordinary that no one recognizes him as a master. This is the goal, to be so spiritual that you don't look spiritual at all, to be so silent that you can make noise, to be so pure that you can walk through the mud and not get dirty. Many of you want to stay in the cave. You want to stay in the holy stage. That is because you still have a spiritual ego. You want people to worship you. You want to wear special clothes and have disciples touch your feet. I say to you, drop the robes, drop the seriousness, go back to the marketplace. If your meditation cannot survive the marketplace, it is not meditation, it is just an escape. Real gold is tested in the fire. The marketplace is the fire. If you can hold your center when everyone around you is going crazy, when the stock market is crashing, when people are shouting, that is Sahaj Samadhi. It is effortless, it is your nature. But to reach this naturalness, you have to drop the idea of improving yourself. Self-improvement is a neurosis. You are constantly trying to polish the mirror, but you are scratching it. Stop polishing, just look. The mirror is already clean beneath the dust of your effort. If you are tired of self-improvement and ready for self-acceptance, if you are ready to be ordinary and extraordinary at the same time, click the like button. Let us celebrate the ordinary. Now let us speak about the guru-disciple relationship again, but from a deeper level. I told you to kill the Buddha. Now I tell you, drink the Buddha. The guru is not a person. The Guru is a window. You don't look at the window, you look through the window. If you keep looking at the window frame, you miss the sky. I am the frame. Don't get obsessed with my beard, my hat, my words. Look through me. Look at what I am pointing to. I am pointing to your own emptiness. I am a finger pointing to the moon. When you see the moon, forget the finger. If you cling to the finger, you are a fool. But until you see the moon, respect the finger. Because without it, you wouldn't know where to look. It is a delicate balance. Love the master, but don't cling to him. Drink his presence, but don't become dependent. Use my energy to light your own candle. Once your candle is lit, my candle is no longer needed. You become a light unto yourself. Apo Dipo Bhava. This is the greatest gift you can give me, to become so independent that you can leave me. If you want to understand this delicate dance of love and freedom, our members area has specific discourses on the mystery of the Master. Join us there. Now, a word on creativity. A spiritual person is inevitably creative. You cannot be silent and not creative. The silence is so full that it wants to sing, to paint, to dance, to cook, to garden. Creativity is not about producing art for a museum. It is about the quality of your touch. If you sweep the floor with love, that is creativity. If you cook a meal with awareness, that is art. God is the creator. The word creator is significant. To be close to God, you must be a creator too. When you create, you disappear. Have you noticed? When you are painting or playing music or writing, you are not there. Time stops. Only the creation remains. That state of flow is a taste of the divine. So find your creative outlet. It doesn't matter if you are good at it. Who cares if the critics like your painting? Paint for the joy of painting. Sing in the shower, even if the neighbors complain. Your joy is the only criterion. When you create, you participate in the divine existence. You become a co-creator. You shake hands with God. But Osho, I am not talented. Everyone is talented. You have just been crushed by the education system. They told you, you can't draw, you can't sing, and you believe them. Unlearn that rubbish. Every child is born creative. Regain your childhood. Take a brush and just play with colors. Don't paint something. Just play with the energy of red, blue, yellow. You will be surprised what happens. Blocks will melt. Joy will flow. If you want to support our creative efforts to bring this message to the world, use the super thanks button. Help us paint the world with awareness. Now let us address the concept of destiny versus free will. This is a question that has tormented philosophers for centuries. Is everything written, or do I have a choice? The answer is yes. And the answer is no. It depends on your level of consciousness. For an unconscious man, everything is destiny. He is a robot. He reacts mechanically. If someone insults him, he must get angry. He has no choice. His life is predictable. An astrologer can predict his life because he is a machine. For a conscious man, free will begins. The more conscious you are, the more freedom you have. You can choose not to react. You can choose to break the pattern. You can choose to step out of the wheel of karma. So destiny is the law of the sleeping mind. Free will is the law of the awakened mind. You are in a transition. You are half asleep and half awake. So sometimes you have free will, and sometimes you are a victim of destiny. The goal is to become totally awake. then you are the master of your destiny. You write your own script, or better yet, you drop the script entirely and improvise. Jazz. Life should be like jazz, not a classical symphony where every note is written down 200 years ago, but jazz where you listen to the moment and respond. You surprise yourself. If you don't surprise yourself every day, you are dead. If you know exactly what you are going to do tomorrow, you are already in the grave. Live dangerously. Let the next moment be a mystery. Don't plan too much. Planning is an attempt to control the future, and the future cannot be controlled. But Osho, if I don't plan, how will I pay my bills? I am not saying be stupid. Use the mind for practical things. Plan your budget, but don't plan your life. Don't plan your feelings. Don't plan your love. Leave the door open for the unexpected. God always comes as the unexpected. He never makes an appointment. If you are too rigid in your schedule, you will say to God, "Sorry, I am busy right now, come back later." And He never comes back. Be available. Availability is the highest prayer. Lord, I am here. Use me. Take me where you want. This is the prayer of the Sufi. He becomes a feather in the wind. He has no will of his own. If the wind blows north, he goes north. If the wind stops, he stops. He has no complaint. He does not say, "I want it to go south." This total acceptance of the wind is what I call let go. Let go is different from giving up. Giving up comes from despair. Let go comes from trust. You trust the wind. You know the wind is intelligent. Are you ready to be a feather? It is very light. It carries no burden. It flies high without wings. Now, let us look at the dark night of the soul. Before the sunrise, the night is the darkest. Before the final breakthrough, there is often a breakdown. Many of you are going through this. You feel like everything is falling apart. Your relationships are ending. Your job is boring. Your old hobbies don't satisfy you. You feel empty, lost, depressed. Celebration. I say celebrate this breakdown. It means the old structure is collapsing. It means you are outgrowing your shell. The chick has to break the shell to be born. It is painful for the shell, but it is life for the chick. Don't try to patch up the old shell. Let it break. Don't try to fix your old life. Let it go. Stand in the ruins. In the ruins you will see the sky more clearly. Do not be afraid of the darkness. The darkness is the womb. Rest in it. Don't rush to turn on the lights. Wait. Let your eyes adjust to the dark. You will see that even the darkness has a velvety quality. It is soothing. It is maternal. The dark night of the soul is the purification. It burns away the last remnants of the ego. The ego cannot survive in that vacuum. So it panics. It creates fear. Just watch the fear. The ego is dying. Goodbye. If you are in this dark night, know that you are not alone. We are all holding hands in the dark. Subscribe to this community so you don't lose your way. We are the night watchmen and use our e-books as a lantern. They will not dispel the darkness, but they will give you the courage to walk through it. Now, let us speak of laughter again. I cannot leave this topic. Laughter is the most spiritual sound. Animals cannot laugh. Have you ever seen a donkey laugh? They are serious. Only man can laugh. It is the peak of evolution. When you laugh, you accept the absurdity of life. You accept the contradictions. You transcend the duality. Seriousness is of the mind. Laughter is of the no mind. You cannot think and laugh at the same time. Try it. The moment you laugh, thinking stops. I want you to fill your life with laughter. Don't take me seriously. Take me playfully. If you take me seriously, you will create a new religion, a new dogma. Osho said this, Osho said that, and you will fight over my words. Please, don't do that to me. I am telling you jokes, not commandments. If I contradict myself, laugh. Enjoy the contradiction. I am not a logician. I am a poet. A poet has the license to contradict. I am consistent only in my inconsistency. My purpose is not to give you a philosophy, but to give you a shock, to wake you up. If cold water wakes you up, I throw cold water. If a joke wakes you up, I tell a joke. If silence wakes you up, I sit in silence. I will use any method to wake you up, because the house is on fire. You are sleeping and the roof is burning. You ask, what fire? The fire of time. Time is burning your life away. Every second is turning into ash. Don't waste it in sleeping. Wake up, look around. The mystery is everywhere. And when you wake up, what do? You don't do anything special. You just live. But you live with a new quality, the quality of witness. You eat, but you witness the eating. You walk, but you witness the walking. You love, but you witness the loving. This witnessing separates you from the mechanism. You become the master. The final illusion to drop is the illusion that I am the doer. The I is the doer? No. The I is a grammatical fiction. Language tricks you. You say, it is raining. Who is this it? Is there an it doing the raining? No. The raining is the it. There is no doer behind the rain. Similarly, there is no I behind your thoughts. There is thinking, but no thinker. There is walking, but no walker. When you see this, that life is a process without a center, the ego evaporates. And when the center is gone, the circumference falls away. You become the whole. This is the ultimate insight of Buddhism, anatta. No self. It is scary at first. If I am no one, then I don't exist. You don't exist as a separate entity, true, but you exist as the whole, which is better, to be a small miserable wave or to be the ocean. Die as the wave, be born as the ocean. This death is the only life worth living. And now a practical word on money, because you live in the world and you are confused about money. Money is energy. It is neutral. It is not good. It is not bad. In the hands of a bad man, money is bad. In the hands of a good man, money is good. Don't renounce money. Renounce the attachment to money. Use money. Create wealth. But use it for beautiful things. Use it to create gardens, music, meditation halls. Use it to help people grow. If spiritual people renounce money, then money remains in the hands of the unconscious people. That is why the world is in a mess. The power is in the wrong hands. I want my sannyasins to be rich, rich in the heart and rich in the pocket. Why not be rich outwardly and inwardly? That is the synthesis. Material poverty is not a virtue. It is just a social disease. We have to eradicate it, but you cannot eradicate it by distributing poverty. You have to create wealth, and the greatest wealth is awareness. If you have money but no awareness, you will just buy more misery. You will buy drugs. You will buy power. You will destroy yourself. If you have awareness, money becomes a tool for blessing. So don't feel guilty about being comfortable. Enjoy your comfort, but share it. If you have enjoyed the comfort of this discourse, share it. Use the super thanks to keep the energy flowing. Money must flow like blood. If it stops, it becomes a clot. If it flows, it gives life. Now, as we approach the final silence of this session, remember, all my words are lies. Yes, I am a liar. Because truth cannot be said, the Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. So why do I speak? To seduce you into silence. I use words to take you beyond words. I use lies to lead you to the truth. Don't hold on to the words. Let them go. Catch the vibe, catch the energy between the words. There is a gap. Catch the gap. In the final part of this series, which is coming next, I will stop lying. I will bring you to the very edge of the cliff and push you off. We will speak of the great death and the great rebirth. We will speak of the final surrender to the absolute. Get ready, pack your bags, or rather unpack them, throw everything away. You need to be light for the final jump. The journey has been long, but we are nearing the peak. The air is getting thin. The crowd is thinning out. Only the brave remain. Are you brave? Are you crazy enough to jump? Wait for the final signal. The final signal is now. You are standing on the precipice. The mind is trembling, looking down into the abyss, screaming, "If I jump, I will die." The heart is whispering, "If I don't jump, I have never lived." Listen to the heart. The mind is a coward. The mind has never taken a risk in its life. It only calculates security. But life is insecure. Love is insecure. God is insecure. To jump means to trust the invisible more than the visible. It means to trust your wings, which you have never used, more than your feet, which are tired of walking. And I tell you, when you jump, a miracle happens. You do not fall. You fly. The abyss is not a bottomless pit. It is the open sky. The moment you let go of the solid ground, the air supports you. Existence supports you. But you have to let go first. You cannot ask for a guarantee. First show me that I will float. Then I will jump. That is the logic of the mind. In the world of spirit, it is the opposite. First jump, and then you will see that you can float. Faith comes first. Proof follows. This is the great death I spoke of. It is not the death of the body. The body will die in its own time. It is the death of the psychological self, the death of me. When me dies, the whole universe is born in you. The space that was occupied by your ego is now flooded with the stars, the sun, the moon. You become the host to the infinite. This is the ultimate paradox. By becoming nothing, you become everything. By losing yourself, you find yourself. If you are trembling, it is good. Trembling shows you are alive. A rock does not tremble. Use that energy. Don't suppress the fear. Transform the fear into excitement. It is the same energy. Fear is just excitement with a negative judgment. Excitement is fear with a positive judgment. Say yes to the trembling and jump. If you have jumped with me, if you have taken this leap of trust, mark this moment by hitting the like button. Let it be the timestamp of your rebirth. Now let us speak of the gateless gate. In Zen, they say you have to pass through a gate to reach enlightenment. But when you pass through, you look back and see that there was no gate. The barrier was imaginary. You were never outside the Garden of Eden. You just fell asleep and dreamt of exile. Adam and Eve never left the garden. They just started believing they were naked and ashamed. They created a mental wall. I am here to dismantle that wall. You are already in paradise. This very moment is paradise. Listen to the silence in the background. Is it lacking anything? Is it asking for improvement? No, it is perfect. Sat Chit Ananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. You are that. Tat TVM Asi. But you are so busy looking for it that you miss it. It is like a fish swimming in the ocean, asking, where is the ocean? Everyone talks about the ocean. I want to find it. The older fish laughs and says, you are in it. You live in it. You die in it. There is no outside to it. You are in God. You are made of God. You are breathing God. Stop searching. Start seeing. This shift from searching to seeing is the only revolution. Revolution does not mean changing the government. It means changing your eyes. When your eyes are clear, you see that the profane is the sacred. The marketplace is the temple. The ordinary stone is the deity. Then there is no need to renounce the world. Why renounce God's creation? Enjoy it. Love it. Make it beautiful. I am against the old religions that taught you to hate the world. They told you life is a punishment. I tell you, life is a reward. It is a gift. It is a school for the soul. Don't run away from school. Learn the lesson. And the lesson is love. Love is the bridge between the human and the divine. Love is the alchemy. But remember, love is not a relationship. Relationship is a business. It is a contract. Love is a state of being. You are loving. Even if you are sitting alone in a room, you are loving. You are radiating love to the walls, to the chair, to the air. When you become love, you become God. God is love is not just a slogan, it is a chemical formula. If you want to understand the chemistry of love, if you want to move from relationship to state of being, our members area is full of lovers of truth. Join the dance. Now, let us address the after. What happens after enlightenment? What happens after you jump? Nothing special happens. You chop wood, you carry water, but the quality changes. Before you chop wood with resistance, with boredom, wishing you were somewhere else. Now you chop wood with joy, feeling the texture of the handle, smelling the wood chips, hearing the sound of the axe. The action is the same, the actor has changed, the sleepwalker is awake, and you become very light. You don't carry the past. You don't worry about the future. You live in a timeless now. This now is the only eternity. Eternity is not a very long time. It is the depth of the present moment. If you dive deep into this second, you will find it has no bottom. It connects to all of existence. So don't ask what will happen to me after death. Ask what is happening to me now. If you are alive now, you will be alive then. Life cannot be destroyed. Life is energy. Energy can only change form. You will change form. You will change address. But you, the witness, will remain. You have worn many bodies. You have been a rock, a tree, an animal, a man, a woman. You have been a king, a beggar. You have worn thousands of costumes, and you are still here. Why are you afraid of changing one more costume? Death is just a changing room. When you understand this, the fear of death vanishes. And when the fear of death vanishes, life becomes a celebration. You can risk, you can play. This is why I say, live dangerously. Build your house on the slopes of Vesuvius. Send your ships into uncharted seas. If you live safely, you are already dead. Security is the grave. Danger is the pulse of life. But Osho, I have children, I have responsibilities. Responsibility does not mean seriousness. You can be a responsible father and still be playful. In fact, if you are playful, you will be a better father. Your children will love you. Children hate serious fathers. They want a father who can crawl on the floor and be a horse. Can you be a horse? Or is your ego too big? Drop the ego. Be a horse, that is true spirituality. And in this playfulness, you will find that your needs become very few. The happy man needs very little. A little food, a little shelter, and the vast sky, it is enough. The unhappy man needs a palace, a golden throne, an army. He is trying to fill his inner emptiness with outer things. It is a bottomless pit. You can throw the whole world into it, and it will still be empty. Fill the inner emptiness with bliss, not with things. Then even a hut is a palace. If you want to help us share this secret of inner wealth, use the super thanks. It helps us reach those who are poor in spirit, even if they are rich in money. Now, a warning about the spiritual ego one last time. It is the last ghost to leave. You may start thinking, now I have understood Osho, now I am awakened, now I am superior to these sleeping people. Watch out. The ego has come back through the back door. It is now wearing a saffron robe. It is speaking Sanskrit. It is more dangerous than before because it is harder to see. If you feel superior to anyone, even a criminal, even a politician, you are not awakened. Awakening brings equality. You see the same light in the saint and the sinner. The saint has cleaned his lamp. The sinner's lamp is covered in soot. But the fire is the same. Don't judge the soot. Help clean the lamp. And if you can't help, at least don't condemn. Compassion. Compassion is the fragrance of the dying ego. And humility. Not the practiced humility of I am nobody, but the natural humility of knowing that I am the whole. If I am the whole, who is there to be proud against? If you are the ocean, are you proud of being wetter than the other waves? It is silly. Be natural, be ordinary, be simple. Zen. Zen is the path of the ordinary mind. Ordinary mind is the Buddha mind. You don't need to do miracles. You don't need to walk on water. Walking on the earth is a miracle enough. Just feel the touch of the earth on your feet. It is a miracle that you are walking, that you are breathing, that you are conscious. Marvel at the ordinary. And now we come to the silence. The words are ending. The pointer is being withdrawn. You are left with the moon. Do not cling to my words. My words are just a noise to drown out your noise, so that eventually we can sit in silence together. The transmission happens in silence. I am not a teacher who gives you information. I am a presence. If you are open, something jumps from my candle to your candle. It is a flame. It is invisible. It is not written in any book. Open your heart. Drop your defenses. Let me in. And when I say let me in, I don't mean Osho the person. I mean the emptiness that I carry. Let the emptiness in. Let it destroy you. Let it destroy your past, your future, your hopes, your fears. Let it burn you to ashes, because out of the ashes the phoenix rises. The new man, the awakened one, you are that phoenix. Don't wait for a savior. You are the savior. Save yourself by waking up. And how to wake up? Just this moment, this breath. Be aware. When you turn off this video, don't just go back to sleep. Carry this flavor with you. Walk differently. Look differently. When you look at a tree, don't just say tree and move on. Look at the green. Feel the life in it. Connect. When you look at your wife, don't say wife. Look at the goddess within her. Connect. Make your whole life a continuous meditation, a 24-hour prayer. It is possible. It is your birthright. And if you fall, if you forget, don't worry, just laugh. I forgot again. And in that laughter, you are back. You are remembered. Don't make a drama out of it. No guilt. Guilt is poison. Just simple remembrance. The path is easy. The mind makes it hard. The path is straight. The mind is a maze. Step out of the maze. Stand under the stars. Breathe. You are home. You have always been home. The search was a dream. The finding is the awakening. Thank you for walking this path with me. Thank you for your trust. Thank you for your love. But remember, the journey does not end here. This is just the beginning. Now the real work starts, the work of living this truth in the world. We have given you the maps in our e-books. We have given you a family in our members' community. Use them. But ultimately, you have to walk the walk. Go with love. Go with laughter. Go with God. And remember, God is not a noun. God is a verb. Guarding. Be guarding. Enough for today.